The friendly giant won it twice, 13 years apart. Calgary's Ron Northcott, simply sensational in the late 60s. The 70s and 80s belonged to Cool Hand Luke. Ed Lukowicz, he captured the crown twice in 78 and 86. And who could forget the ride Pat Ryan and the Express provided in 88 and 89. The 90s meant Magnificent Martin. What's in store next? More to marvel at in the new millennium. Live from Medicine Hat, welcome to the Safeway Select Alberta Men's Provincial Curling Championships. Hi everyone, I'm Peter Loubardius and welcome indeed to the championship final of the 2000 Safeway Select Alberta Men's Provincial Curling Championship. And then there were two. On Wednesday, 8 rinks continued the quest to try and win a Purple Heart and earn a berth into the upcoming Labatt Brier in Saskatoon. And now it's championship Sunday night, and only 2 remain. And oh my, what a matchup we have at the Medicine Hat Curling Club. 5-time provincial champion Kevin Martin, also a 2-time Canadian champ, taking on Calgary's Frank Morissette. He was a member of the 1976 provincial winning team, and this is also a rematch of the 1996 provincial final. Kevin Martin earned his way to the final by finishing atop the round robin with a record of 6-1. In his final game yesterday morning, he battled Mike Vavrick of Sexsmith. And no matter how hard Vavrick tried to get things turned his way, Martin and company were dynamite from start to finish. They closed out the game with this shot, running the Sexsmith product out of rocks. They won it 5-2 and closed out the round robin atop the standings with a record of 6-1. Frank Morissette was second in the round robin at 5-2, and he battled Lowell Peterman of Red Deer in an exciting semifinal this afternoon. Here's the key shot, the 8th end. Morissette looking for a double, and watch this. Oh, some kind of shot. That lifted Morissette and his Calgary rink to the final with a 5-3 victory as he knocked off the Red Deer team, Lowell Peterman. So here's how it broke down. After the round robin, Kevin Martin earned the bye into the final with a 6-1 mark. Frank Morissette also ensured himself a playoff berth at 5-2. Then we had a 3-way tie for the third and final playoff spot, so we required a couple of tiebreakers. Rick Snethen knocking off Mike Vavrick with a steal of 2-10 in the first tiebreaker. Then Lowell Peterman, who we just showed you losing in the semifinal, beat Snethen in the second tiebreaker game to get us to the situation we are in this evening. 1 year ago in Grand Prairie, Ken Hunke and his Edmonton rink won it all in an exciting final over Dave Nedwin. The third on that team, Brent McDonald, and oh my, did he play well at the Brier in Edmonton. And tonight, we like to call him the Big Mac. He joins us for this championship final broadcast with Roger Millions.
Right you are, Peter. I guess the downside is you're sitting here with me, but the upside is in a few hours' time we'll be crowning a brand new Safeway Select Men's Champion here in the province of Alberta. Certainly great to have you along.
Thanks, Roger.
All right, what a field we have. A few days ago, we had 8 teams come to the play as far as the lineup was concerned, and we had a diverse field indeed. We had great experience in this championship, and we had some newcomers as well.
Certainly, Martin had to have been the favorite coming in with this plethora of Purple Hearts. We had Mike Vavrick, who's lost a couple provincial finals, and Frank Morissette, who's been strong.
And again, 3 associations making up the province of Alberta, the Peace, along with the Northern Alberta Curling Association and Southern Alberta Curling Association, making up all 8 of the rinks that are involved in this year's championship. But fact remains, it's 2 experienced teams going at it tonight in the championship final of the Safeway Select. Winning it, the round robin, and advancing directly to the final, Team Kevin Martin. And what an experienced team it is, with Kevin Martin himself, Don Walchuk at third. The youngsters, Carter Rycroft, his first year with the team at second, and Don Bartlett. This is a team, Brent McDonald, that brings a lot to championship play.
Certainly, Kevin's team's very strong, and they've proven it through many years. They have a great ability to play the high, hard game, run backs, that type of thing, and they also can adapt to the draw game very well.
They've got it all, and that's one of the reasons why they've been the best in the country. However, they will be challenged tonight by Frank Morissette's foursome out of Calgary with great experience. Third, Mickey Pendergast. His second, Kevin Pendergast. And Eugene Doherty at lead. This has been a very solid unit throughout this competition. And again, they bring to the table some great skills.
You bet. Their front end is a great sweeping front end. Very strong sweepers. They like the ice here. They like the ice conditions here. They've had success here in the past.
And they certainly have adapted to it very well this week. So it is indeed Frank Morissette against Kevin Martin. These two skips are more than ready to take on the action tonight in the championship final.
For us, I think we'll go after it a little bit early, try to get aggressive. That way, if things do go a bit wrong, we've got time to catch up. But hopefully with Hammer to start the game, if we can get two up, 3 up, get a bit of a lead, that could help a lot.
No, not at all. We just go out and play each end at a time, and whatever develops, you just have to defend if they're got a few rocks in play, and if vice versa. If we got a few rocks in play, they have to make some good shots at the right time. But you never know how the game's going to go. It's just one end at a time. You never know.
So it's 49-year-old Frank Morissette and his Calgary foursome against 33-year-old Kevin Martin and his group from the Otwell and Edmonton. Martin and Morissette coming up next on CTV Sportsnet.
Get your tickets for the world's hottest event on ice. The Labatt Brier 2000. The Big Freeze is coming. Call Select a Seat at 1-888-9687-888.
This is a warning to all you people who drink and drive. Alberta's getting tough on drunk drivers. Drunk drivers cause more death, pain, and destruction than all other serious crimes combined. If you're caught drinking and driving, you'll lose your license automatically. Alberta's getting tough on drunk drivers because drunk drivers are tough on Albertans.
Oh, no pigtails anymore.
Check, please.
David, you okay to drive?
Yeah, I only had a couple drinks. I'm fine.
Come on.
Keys can be a weapon. A few drinks can make you a killer.
Alberta rocks. For clinics and camps, call Alberta Rocks at 780-427-8095. Yep. We're back at the Medicine Hat Curling Club, and what a job this curling club has done in putting on this 2000 championship, and play is underway at end number 1. The Red Rocks belonging to Kevin Martin's foursome, the Yellow Rocks to Frank Morissette. Red Rocks going to the team that finishes first in the round robin. And we've already got some action in the house, Brent McDonald.
Yeah, he started off pretty aggressive. Kevin threw up a corner guard when Morissette threw his first one in. And as you can see now, Morissette is laying his 2.
You can see Lotte. Carter Rycroft, first-year member of Kevin Martin's team in the hack, getting set to go to work here with his first stone of end number 1, just 22 years of age. I would think the jitters are there for a youngster like that.
I would think so. Carter played in the final last year against us and played well. He's played really well all week. He was the top percentages as a second. And I think he's got a fairly good career ahead of him.
Going after the rock sitting at the 12-foot. A little bit on line, a little problem there, but just rolls away from the ring. So one rock remains in the house, that belonging to Frank Morissette's foursome. Just back of the 4-foot, and it is the skip, Frank Morissette. 49 years young, just like Ken Hunka was with your team 1 year ago, winning the provincial championship.
Experienced, as they say.
Exactly.
This gives the Morissette team a chance to go on the aggressive here and certainly try and put some pressure on Martin here the first end.
Kevin Pendergast delivering his second stone. They're working on it heavily. Eugene Doherty along with Mickey Pendergast. Trying to come in behind that rock that sits on top of the 12-foot.
Oh, right on.
It's important they keep this in front of the tee line if they can. That's a good shot by Kevin.
With Kevin Martin's team having hammer in end number 1, Frank Morissette's team doing what they can. They don't want to give up that deuce, especially on ice like this. The ice is very keen, and it's very straight.
Yeah, the ice has been really good all week, and what we're looking at is probably about a 1.5 curl on draws around center line guards.
Line's good.
Martin team might have a bit of a disadvantage in that they haven't played on the ice for a couple days now. Their last game was Saturday morning. Morissette's played on it a couple times, and they look good this afternoon.
And third, Don Walchuk echoed those thoughts, thinking that perhaps there might be a little bit rusty. They make the hit, trying to roll away to give up a little bit of that Yellowstone so they can see it. That's not a bad shot at all. It's certainly, you can see the entire rock from the hat.
Yeah, that was the call. He had to roll away there. He couldn't stay in behind the guard as it was buried. Morissette's team, and talking to them before the game, wanted to come out of the gate and try and steal a point early and get some control.
You know, we've talked about experience here in the opening moments of this Safeway Select Final. Mickey Pendergast certainly has been here before.
He has. Mickey has lost a couple provincial finals. He's been close. He's been on the Bonsall circuit for years now, and he's a very solid, very good thrower.
Pendergast trying to make the hit on the Martin Stone.
Come on, roll, Kev. Come on.
He gets it and gets that flop over. Is he going to get enough to get behind cover?
He might have got just a piece behind. Walchuk's probably going to play a quiet weight hit here and try and roll it in behind the guard.
That's exactly what the call is. And if you're Kevin Martin, then the strategy is simple. Try to get your deuce in end number 1, take control of the game early, and move on if you can.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the first few ends here should be really interesting, as the teams are both fairly aggressive teams, and they're going to be fighting for control early. Morissette's team wants to steal one early, and Martin wants to get his deuce.
Don Walchuk, 36 years of age, from Sherwood Park. One of the top thirds in the country.
In the world, definitely.
In the world.
Yeah, Don's a great character. He's a lot of fun off the ice, but you get him on the ice, boy, what a competitor.
They're on it early, but they're getting a little curl on it now. Just seeing if they can get enough of a roll to get behind cover and to get a little bit. Certainly half of that rock is covered up.
Yeah, he got about half buried on that one. That's a good shot by Don.
What a hack.
All right.
Hack the board.
So now the game begins early.
It does. The game's on first end here.
There's a look at it again. Just a little bit of a roll. Again, about half covered.
They would like to have seen just a little more roll on that one. You can see about half a rock here, so I think we're just going to play a quiet weight hit.
Yep.
They're on it immediately right off. Mickey Pendergast letting the stone go.
He did. Yep. Great!
You can see the strong sweeping on the front end of the Morissette team there. They can hold the rock up.
Yep, right up. Roll it over.
That's exactly what they did, because it looked like it was making a move, but they flop it right over to the other side of the house. And 2 Yellowstones sitting there. One just grabbing a part of the 4-foot and the other full in the 12-foot.
Slide there.
Looks like Kevin's calling for the hit and roll or hit and freeze or double to try and make the double rollover. There you go.
You know, Kevin has basically, with his team, been off the ice now for a day and a few hours. How big a difference for that?
It is tough to come back. Last year we had the same situation where we had about a day and a half off before the final, and gives you a little too much time to think about things, but you've got to stay sharp. I mean, they know what they came here to do, and they'll be sharp.
That's a pretty good shot by Don Walchuk as he gets the hit and the roll and just kisses up against that Morissette stone.
Yeah, that was a good shot by Don. As I say, he's got the touch shots, and he can throw the high hard ones. He's the whole package.
Frank Morissette has actually won an Alberta championship. He was third man for Wayne Sokolowski back in 1976. 24 years between, you know, another possibility. Certainly he's had others in the past, but another solid chance here, and I know he's got to be thrilled to have the opportunity.
Oh, you bet. Frank's been close for many years. As Pete mentioned at the start of the show, he lost the 96 final to Martin. Was close then. He's back with a different team now. He didn't have the Pendergast brothers then, but he's very solid.
Dare say one of the most popular curlers in the province of Alberta.
Off, Kevin.
And he urges his rushers to stay off the rock immediately. Ice runs very straight here in Medicine Hat. Has all week long, and he's cleaned things right up, in fact.
Yeah, he really wanted to keep one of the yellow rocks in play over there to make Kevin play to the corner. This gives Kevin a chance to go around the center guard now and try and get his deuce.
In the round robin, Kevin Martin curling at 84%.
It doesn't, eh? Okay.
84% indeed, and he'll try the in-turn draw where he was at 88% in the round robin.
Yeah, Kevin's always got good draw weight, and I mean his sweepers are really good. Carter was a great addition to the team, and that he's young and youthful and adds a lot of enthusiasm to that team.
He's had an interesting week here in Medicine Hat. The 33-year-old, 5-time Alberta champion. From his family, his wife, Shauna, and family being involved in an accident here in Medicine Hat, an automobile accident. Everybody's okay, fortunately, but still an accident. And as well, the sweater controversy that's gone across Canada like wildfire. We'll get into more of that a little bit later. Kevin trying to get in behind that guard.
Looks like Kevin's just going to rack a bit here,
Right to the back.
want to take this back now if they can.
And again, end number one, as a result, it takes time. It takes a little while to get used to the weight. I think you saw that on Frank's takeout try, and then, of course, and this particular draw opportunity for Kevin Martin.
Yeah, it was a good call by Don Bartlett there on the sweeping. About the hog line, he gave the indication to Walchuk that it was a little heavy. So if that's the case, rather than go behind and give Morissette an opportunity to come down and freeze to that one, they'll go into the open, and hopefully they can get their blank end now.
So Frank Morissette will be looking at the takeout, try to stick around here. If he can get a flop over behind some cover, he'll certainly take that.
Yeah, that would be a bonus.
That's what he's after here at end number one. We're just underway. The 2000 Safeway Select Championship here on CTV Sportsnet.
Just playing the quiet weight, trying to stick a shooter around. If you pick your weight up a little bit on the ice, it tends to run a little straighter than not. It looks like he's got a good shot here on the nose.
Okay, Frank. Good shot. Indeed he does. He'll stick around, and that'll force Kevin Martin's hand. Kevin now, of course, trying for the blank. He wants to retain the hammer and try to set up that deuce somewhere along the line. Early on, that's never a sure thing. Very often you see on a takeout like this, just that inability to read the ice sometimes means you hit a nose hit and take that one.
Yeah, you're right. That often does happen first end. Kevin throws the rock hard enough, though, that even if he hits 9/10 of the rock, he can still roll it out, which that's a big weapon that this whole team has. I mean, between Walchuk and Martin, they can throw the rocks awful hard.
Final stone, end number one for Kevin Martin. Pretty close. Indeed he is, and he will chip it away. It's a blank of end number one. So Kevin Martin and Frank Morissette, we're scoreless here in Medicine Hat. Alberta rocks. For clinics and camps, call Alberta Rocks at 780-427-8095.
This is a warning to all you people who drink and drive. Alberta's getting tough on drunk drivers. Drunk drivers cause more death, pain, and destruction than all other serious crimes combined. If you're caught drinking and driving, you'll lose your license automatically. Alberta's getting tough on drunk drivers because drunk drivers are tough on Albertans.
Get in the game. Call your local association. CTV Sportsnet is proud to present the Safeway Select Alberta Men's Provincial Curling Championships. Brought to you by Alberta Transportation. Alberta's getting tough on drunk drivers. By Olson's Canada. the largest manufacturer of curling equipment in the world. And by Quick Card Dental Plans. Fast, easy, convenient. Back at Medicine Hat, the ice has been a very consistent thing throughout the course of the week.
Yeah, Rick Sweet, head icebreaker, has done an excellent job with the ice. Got about 1.5 feet of movement around the center guard both ways, moves about the same. To the corners, we're looking at approximately 3 to 4 feet of movement. The ice has certainly created some excellent shot making during the week. We can look forward to some good shot making on this ice tonight as well. As far as draw times, hog to hog, we're looking at about 14.5 seconds. Hog to stop, we're looking about 24 seconds. So nice, keen ice. Both teams have played on it all week, got used to it. I think we're going to see some good shots.
Rules are cut and dried. 3-rock rule, of course, in the Provincial Championship. Both teams get a timeout. 10 minutes per team in the extra end. And, of course, the 73-minute clock is operating as we get set to go for end number 2 here in Medicine Hat at the Medicine Hat Curling Club. This community has, of course, hosted major events before. The World Junior Curling Championship. They know how to host a curling event and have done an excellent job here this week for the Safeway Select.
Yes, the host committee's done an excellent job. The attendance has been excellent all week as well. There's been great support shown by the spectators, but also by the sponsors.
Eugene Doherty for this first rock of end number 2, just setting it up as it rolls into the house, into the 4-foot. Eugene, throughout the course of the week, curling very solidly. 87%, and that's what you want from your lead to set the table.
Yeah, your lead, you need your lead to be 85 to 95% in order for you to win. Lead's a key position, not only in how they throw the rocks and how they set up the ends, but also their sweeping ability and communication.
Here comes Don Bartlett's first rock of end number 2. And they're going to ignore that stone sitting with a piece of the button that belongs to Frank Morissette. Bartlett will put it in front and use it as future reference for potential here at end number 2, let's call it.
Yeah, this is a good example of the aggressive nature of Kevin's team. While they're even here, they're trying to get some control in this game by getting their deuce early. Mickey Pendergast and Kevin Pendergast, good sweeping here. They're going to try and keep this rock out front, throw up a guard, and the game's on.
Bring as tight as you can. Right up. Right up.
And they'll put this rock into a guard position. Again, extremely keen. 14.5, you were saying, hog to hog a while back, Brent. And once you get used to that, with these two teams, highly skilled as they are, it'll add for an interesting game. Could be a tad defensive, but that happens a lot sometimes in a provincial championship.
Yeah, the first few ends, usually you'll get the teams feeling each other out, but both teams have come out here pretty aggressive, trying to make things happen. As long as the game's close like this, that makes for a much better game.
There's Don Bartlett, a good close look at him. Kevin called him a grizzled veteran yesterday.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to go to Japan with Kevin and Don and Carter this summer on a curling trip, and got to know the team quite well, and Don's quite the character. Great guy, good team player.
Grizzled, a term of endearment, I'm quite sure, and lots of fun to be around. One of those guys that kind of cements your team together.
He is. He's a great team guy. I mean, he'll watch the rocks. He knows the ice as well as Kevin in most cases. If you're talking strategy and they're talking about what the ice will do in certain spots, Don adds a lot to that.
Kevin Pendergast with his stone here at end number 2. Boy, talk about relaxed. Kevin Pendergast was walking around here between the semi and the final with a big smile on his face. And I tell you, that's the kind of attitude I think you want to take into a championship game, and he does the job with a nice takeout and sits there on the top of the 4, but very relaxed.
Kevin is. He's very much a PR type guy. He enjoys going around, meeting the people, and keeps the team, I think, loose as well.
As for Kevin Martin, he can be loose, and he can also be quite concentrated on what he's doing as he calls for Carter Rycroft to take out this stone. And they're working on it hard. Bartlett and Walchuk, the two Dons, trying to hold the line on this stone in the 4.
He's going to run the front one here. Yeah.
Just a little bit of a rack, but we'll get the flop and roll. See if he sticks around in the 12. He's going to roll completely out of there. But it does open it up a little bit, too. He didn't get what he wanted.
That's not the worst. Carter Racky there, he sets up a couple corner guards on the side, and I mean, if the guard isn't put on this one perfectly, that could come into play later on in the end.
Could be a plan B.
That's a plan B, definitely. To go by both of them on the outside would not be a good shot. the way he missed that one as far as racking, that's fine.
Clean it.
Kevin Pendergast, second stone.
Tight line now. Tight line. Come on. Losing it.
Frank Morissette urges on.
Come on.
Mickey and Eugene to get on the stone and bring it closer to the rings. No guard opportunity there for the rock in the 4, but sits there just at the top of the 12.
It's a good shot, maybe a little tight. Kevin's probably going to try and run these two back now.
Throw normal at
Keep his in play tight to the rings, and then the game's on.
Is there a team that plays the run back in Alberta as much as Kevin Martin?
No, not nearly as much and not nearly as well. I mean, Kevin's team from Carter, Walchuk, Martin, all three of them can throw that big weight with such good control. And that's a great weapon.
They're right on it. Hard, never off. And exactly what they want. They get the double and have that redstone sitting directly in top of the 12. And you see some snowflakes on the face. We'll get at that in a second. But first, the takeout opportunity that was executed to perfection.
Yeah, it was a great shot. Carter was trying to run both rocks off and keep his red rock in play. And that's exactly what he did. That red rock can be bumped up later, or if the Morissette team makes a good draw around that red rock, he could always run it back later. And then Frank knows it's a dangerous rock and is getting rid of it.
I'll continue on with the snowflake thing. That is in reference to
Mr. Morissette. Frankie, I think Mr. Lukowicz started this years ago when they curled together. That Frank's delivery is not the best of all the time. So what a snowflake name is termed, no two are ever alike as far as snowflakes. That's kind of like Frank's deliveries.
I'll tell you what, I hope I get the job done like Frank Morissette gets the job done. There's no doubt about that. And Mickey Pendergast did here with his stone. He gets to take out in 2 yellow rocks sitting in front of the house. But immediately, Kevin Martin now is going to make the challenge and play aggressively.
Yeah, he's going for his deuce here now. He wants to get this 2 with last rock, get control of this game, and then try and get Morissette to get his 2 against him. It's going to be, it should be an interesting end to this end.
Don Walchuk in the hack, set to deliver his first stone of end number 2. Curling at 84%. Very consistent curler. We've already alluded to that. He'll try the out-turn draw, but he's, as you can hear in the background, let it go, maybe a little heavy.
Line's good.
A lot of weight.
Don makes a lot of shots for Kevin. Between Carter and Don, they set the ends up pretty good for Kevin.
That's not what we wanted to hear.
Looks like he was a little out on this, or hung a little straighter than they wanted. The weight was good. He's right on the tee line.
Boy, that sure it just hangs there. The weight is just up ever so little. Yeah, you don't get a lot of swing to try to come in behind. You've really got to hit it perfectly.
If Don had about 5 feet less weight and they had to sweep that one to get it there, that probably would have moved nicely in there. It's just that it's very sensitive as far as weight and delivery.
Okay.
Mickey Pendergast didn't say a lot, but what he said, I kind of like the freeze.
Yeah, Mickey's playing the freeze down to the red one. If they went after the red one, it's a pretty tough shot. He's just playing a freeze, maybe try and get an inside freeze to be shot rock or just bump it a hair.
Too much. Lots of room. Lots of room. Whoa, Kevy. Let it work.
Can't bump. No bump.
Looks like he's got good weight on this one.
You can. Let it curl. Come on. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Again, just not getting as much curl as they thought there. The weight was perfect. That's exactly what they were looking at.
It looks to be about 2 inches apart, those 2 stones. Martin's stone sitting right there on the button, or at least a part of the button, and almost full in the 4 foot.
Just a little, right, to offset it?
I think Don's just coming down, kind of freezing on the inside of that yellow rock. That way they can't get rid of both red rocks.
So it's tit for tat.
Yeah, the game's certainly on now.
Line's good. Don Walchuk.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Looks like he's got a little more weight than they were asking for.
Whoa, line.
No, we got no line, though.
You can hear the good communication between the front end and Kevin.
Hard. Hard. Whoa. 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 Hard. 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 Hard.
Great shot, Don. They're pretty happy with that. Very nice.
You bet. At the end, Kevin wanted to get the bump so that the rocks weren't lined up to get rid of both red. As it sits now, it's pretty hard to take both red rocks without taking the yellow.
That communication thing is so important on the sweep, especially a keen ice situation like this. They've got to be together on that.
It is, and as we mentioned before, I mean, if you throw 5 feet more weight here, it runs that much straighter. And that's where the sweepers, if they can give Kevin an accurate line call, or weight call, sorry, at the halfway mark, it really helps Kevin with the line call.
There's another look at it, and it came a long way. Once it came down in weight, and the speed was declining, it sure moved.
Yeah, that's where you're going to get all your movement here. The movement's all at the end from the hog line in.
So Frank Morissette gets ready for his first stone of N2. Looking at a cluster there around the 4 foot.
I think Frank's playing a normal weight hit here and trying to double those out. He's just going to have to try and get it by his own. It's a pretty thin double. He has to be careful here. He doesn't hit it too thick and onto his own and spill the red rock in behind the 2 corner guards as well.
So a big shot early on in this Safeway Select Championship game. Yep. Frank Morissette trying for the double on it immediately.
Hard. Real hard! Push! Harder!
It's a great shot by Frank.
What an outstanding shot. He got the double and he left that rock sitting in the 4. Did exactly what he wanted.
Yeah, that was a great shot.
Delicate shot indeed, and he made it to perfection.
Yeah, you can see Kevin's going to try come down now. He's got to try come down and rub off the yellow in behind the center guard. He's probably just going to be playing some quiet weight. It's a great shot by Frank, but by no means is he out of the end.
No. Kevin trying to get in behind cover, behind that yellow stone sitting atop the rings.
And playing against Kevin through the years, I know Kevin certainly favors his out turn. That is his favorite turn, so this, I wouldn't be surprised if he made this.
Right up. Get close. Oh.
Haven't laid a brush to it yet.
Hard. Yep. Oh. Hard. 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 Your way, Carter. Hard.
It's another good indication of how if you up your weight just that little bit, how much straighter it does stay.
Just a look at Kevin just shaking his head ever so little. Just so keen and so straight, maybe just a little perplexing.
In talking to Frank, he thought the ice had changed a bit from the round robin draws to today's draw. It just runs a little straighter.
But this end certainly changed on the double by Frank Morissette. Here's another look at it.
Yeah, it's a great double. It's a great shot he made here. I mean, he's in danger of giving up his deuce if he doesn't make that shot. So that was a key shot.
And once again, he has another opportunity to put the heat on Kevin Martin. Frank Morissette's final stone of the second end.
Frank's got a couple options here. He can roll behind the center guard, or he can roll over behind the far 2 corner guards. So
Yep.
either
Hard.
one.
Yep. Hard. Real hard. Hard. Right to it. Real hard.
On it in a hurry, trying to hold the line.
Hey, Frankie. Oh, boy.
You can see moving from the inside out to the corners, there is more curl, and even with the more weight that he had on that one, it did curl quite a bit more.
So we're right back where we started from as far as end number 2 coming to a completion. The first end was a blank on a hit and roll by Kevin Martin, and the same situation presenting itself here in the second end. Slightly different part of the ice.
Yep, Kevin again is looking for the hit and roll out, take his blank now and go after his deuce next end.
How hard is it to maintain your patience in a championship game?
That's the big thing in a championship game like this. You don't want to be overly aggressive to a point where all of a sudden you got an end that backfires on you.
And again, Kevin Martin with that out turn. It's a good point you made because he had no problem at all throwing the out turn. So we're scoreless after 2 complete ends. The 2000 Safeway Select in Medicine Hat.
Get your tickets for the world's hottest event on ice. The Labatt Brier 2000. The big freeze is coming. Call Select a Seat at 1-888-9687-888.
The Safeway Select Curling Championships derive their name from Canada Safeway's signature line of select products. There are now more than 600 select items available, all maintaining the same quality standards that were established when Select Cola was first introduced in 1995.
Safeway's brand of premium label product is the Safeway Select. And it's always our concern that the quality of product is where our customers expect it to be and meets those expectations.
Since their introduction, Safeway Select products have been recognized by their customers and the grocery industry for their gold-class quality and taste.
Nothing is ever released from this plant if it doesn't meet the exact specifications given to us by Safeway.
With over 600 premium brand Safeway Select products to choose from, each with a shared reputation for quality and value, it's only a matter of selecting the time for Select the product.
Get in the game. Call your local association. That's one large teepee sitting outside Medicine Hat, Alberta, home of the 2000 Safeway Select Alberta Men's Curling Championship Final. We're scoreless going to end number 3. Eugene Doherty will lead the way for Frank Morissette's team when we get set to go for action, and certainly scoreless so far. This is reminiscent of a number of provincial championships in the last few years here in the province of Alberta. Very, very tight early on.
Yeah, it's a different type of blank Enzo that we've had. It's not throwing them in the house and hit. Both teams have been trying to get control. It's just the teams are making their shots to get out at the end, and it's made for some interesting ends so far.
And there's Eugene Doherty doing his thing, and rock number 1 as far as his complement is concerned in end number 3. Earlier in this championship in Medicine Hat, we saw a 1-0 game that Frank Morissette was involved in with 1 point in the 10th end, so it can happen.
It can. That's one of the few times I've ever seen that. It was blank the first 9 ends, and Frank played Trenton McQuarrie and took his 1 in the 10th end to win 1-0.
So Eugene puts a stone full in the 4-foot. Kevin Martin will call upon Don Bartlett.
We're seeing the same type of strategy from all 3 ends so far. Morissette team throws their 1 in the 4-foot. Martin throws up his corner guard. Next play will be to center, and away we go again.
Don's going to put 1 out. At least he's going to attempt to put 1 out between the hog line of the house.
Don's a key on this team. He watches the rocks and will take bad rocks. He charts the rocks to make sure if there's any bad rocks, he'll take them off Kevin's hands. He's great with strategy. Kevin will talk to him for strategy. He's a real key on this team.
Takes a lot of people to put on a provincial championship in 2 organizations that have been so important to this one. Standing by right now with Peter Loubardias.
Thanks a lot, Roger. You don't have successful championships like this with not only major players on the ice, but off it, and we certainly have 2 with me right now. Toby Oswald, the Vice President of Public Affairs of Canada Safeway, and to my left, the one, the only Graham Prowse, the President of the Alberta Curling Federation. Toby, I just want to ask you, Safeway has been a major sponsor of this Safeway Select Provincial Men's Championship for 6 years. Why is it so important to Safeway to be involved with this kind of an event?
Well, you know, curling has been a major part of Western Canada and rural communities, just as Safeway has for more than 70 years. And we feel it's a perfect fit for us. We really appreciate the social aspect of the game and the fact that curlers, media, and fans can interact, the sportsmanship, and the fact that it's a lifelong sport.
Thanks a lot. Graham, the 1900s really were magical, all kinds of great efforts in Alberta. As an association, where do you hope to grow the sport in the new century that's upon us?
Well, there's a couple of areas. First of all, when you look at the championship side of things, we'll continue to partner with great companies like Canada Safeway, and we'll continue to explore the opportunities and make the best we have of our provincial properties. As far as the game itself goes, I think we really need to continue to consult with the stakeholders in the game. That's the competitive player, that's the curling clubs, it's a junior player, it's a recreational player, and we have to make sure that we incorporate what they tell us into our decisions.
Thank you very much, Roger. You stated it best. You don't have major championships without great players like these off the ice.
Indeed, you're right, Peter Loubardias. Indeed, you are. The Alberta Curling Federation and Canada Safeway have done it all for this Safeway Select Championship. Kevin Martin urging Carter Rycroft for the takeout, top of the forfeit.
Pretty boy, as they call him in Japan.
Wow. Well, I think he can probably live with that.
Yeah, there's worse things to be called, but Carter was a hit when we were in Japan with his boyish good looks, and he's quite a hit.
The Alberta Curling Federation, Graham Prowse, we heard from him moments ago, certainly making a very strong effort to continue the great future of curling in the province of Alberta.
Yeah, the Alberta Curling Federation has come a long ways in the last few years and continue to do a great job. There is a problem with curling in Alberta as far as too many associations. We have the ACF, the Peace, the NACA, the SACA. We have basically four associations in Alberta, and I really would like, as a player, and I mean in talking to a lot of the competitive players, we would like to see basically those four associations into one, and just have one standard set of rules rather than different rules in every section.
Seems like common sense to me.
Yeah.
Morissette Stone sitting there in the house. And again, Carter Rycroft.
Wow.
At second for Kevin Martin's foursome.
Yeah. Carter's just trying to play the quiet hit and roll in behind the center guard here again.
Hurt. Well,
both teams now will be probably getting a little bit of a feel for the ice, although there's one just hanging out there a little bit again. It seemed that halfway down the ice, Kevin Martin was fairly confident that stone was going to come on through, but indeed it just hung out there a little bit more.
Yeah, that just a little more weight, runs a little straighter again. Good example of the associations was Kathy Borst this year. She curls out of Edmonton on a continual basis. And this year she ended up curling out of the Southern Alberta Curling Association, which I don't think was necessary. But there's a few issues they have to work on and solve, and then hopefully over time they'll be able to do that.
Mickey Pendergast delivers his stone. No. But he's going to rack in front. Now, that is probably the first opportunity of the game for Kevin Martin's foursome. Morissette foursome has been letter perfect to this point, but here's an opportunity now. One red stone sitting in the house. And Don Walchuk will get his opportunity here to do some damage for the Martin foursome.
Yeah, that's a big break right there for the Martin team now. They're going to try and jump all over this and try to get another rocking behind the corner guard, and it looks like they're set up for their deuce.
We're still scoreless in the Safeway Select Championship. The winner here goes to the Labatt Brier in Saskatoon starting March the 4th. And the last time it was there in '89, it was absolutely marvelous. And the Brier will be nothing but a success again for the organizing committee in Saskatoon.
Well, I'm sure Saskatoon's going to put on a good show. I'm going to try and get down there for a couple days and enjoy that Saskatchewan hospitality, and it should be a great event.
They do know how to put on a Brier, and they come off the heels of maybe the most successful Brier ever that was held in Edmonton.
Yeah, that was a very successful Brier, both for the curlers, numbers as far as attendance and profit made.
Well, he might be a little bit biased, but if you hold it in the West, how can you lose?
Control, wait. That's where we played here in the first day,
yeah, the Western hospitality.
Nothing like it. So 2 red stones sitting in the house after Don Walchuk's rock winds up just fighting the 4-foot, 3 o'clock position. They're going to go after Mickey Pendergast. That stone sitting in the 12 and getting a bite of the 8.
Yeah.
Angles are a little too steep for the double, so I think he's just trying to play a hit and roll over in front of that the red one is behind the corner guard there.
He's getting that roll. Question is a little bit too much.
Where that ended up actually doesn't help the Morissette team at all. Kevin's just going to try and put another one in around the corner and corner freeze to the yellow one. It's shaping up as a pretty dangerous end for Morissette.
Makes it interesting. Like splitting the house? Yeah. This is totally buried, Don. Okay. Let's go here.
Okay, I'm not going to give you any more weight.
So they're just playing that draw around the corner and trying to corner freeze to the yellow one.
Kevin Martin saying it'll make it interesting. I guess that's on what side of the fence you sit on.
Yeah, that's right.
Lots of room. Lots of, well, not lots of lots. Whoa, whoa. Ah.
Not touching this one. Not touching
Don's got a good shot here. He's just going to come down right on top of his own.
Gave it a little bump, and obviously with Kevin's reaction, not 100% pleased.
No, he didn't want to bump that rock. If he came down on top of it, it would have actually ended up pretty good that he couldn't got rid of both of them. As it is now, there's enough room. There's enough room between the two.
What is it?
Red ones that he can squeeze it out behind the yellow now.
You can see.
Let's listen in to Mickey and
3/4 here, 7/8. We'll need to hit a quarter.
Oh, okay. I didn't think we could see that much.
I think it's an easier shot.
Okay.
You just pop it to here. It's great.
You can see Frank's going to come down, try and squeeze this one by his yellow off the back of the red one and out. It should go by without touching his yellow one at all.
A little more. It ain't really thin, eh?
Well, the quarter will do it.
How much?
A quarter will do it.
They're just communicating as to how much they want to actually hit of that front red rock, and about a quarter of the rock should make the double.
The complexion of this third end could
Even
change
a third's
dramatically.
close.
Frank's being called on to make a couple big shots early here. He made the double last end again. This is another big shot for him. You can only see probably about a third of that rock.
Now,
Frank Morissette with his first stone. Big opportunity for the Calgary foursome.
I don't think he's got anything here. No.
Flashes both of those red rocks. And now the opportunity really exists for that big end you spoke about moments ago for Kevin Martin.
Yeah, you could kind of see it coming up with the corner guards up. That's not going to help the Morissette team at all. Kevin wants those corner guards. That's where he wants the play to be. And if he ever does get in trouble, he's always got the 4-foot to draw to get his one to get out.
We just don't want to leave it here and give him that double and sit here, right?
Well, it's got to be here.
Right on the tee line.
Unless you want to come in on top again.
Well, you know, why not? Why not?
They're just discussing the options.
They can down, so
they can come
even
back.
Even if I'm a little short, even if I'm here.
Okay.
They can come back into the pile of 2 red rocks and freeze in there. Or the other option that they were discussing is going to the other side of the house, but they've got to make sure that it's back behind the tee line.
Perfect on the tee line on the other side.
Can come down right in on top here for trying to get 3 or 4. Or his other option is to come to the other side, to the back of the house, and make sure that there's not going to be any double setup.
Like right now, if we go to throw this guard,
leave it long, you get come around. Right?
He put the corner freeze, and like right now, we're forcing him to make something tough, right?
Yeah.
Just a matter of how aggressive Kevin really wants to be here now.
I'm thinking if we can go on top, freeze it in the crotch, life's definitely interesting. Even if we're 6 inches short. It's a fighter. I'm thinking right there.
You can see how Kevin is going to Don Bartlett now for advice and for some help with strategy.
When you share as many championships as Don Bartlett and Kevin Martin have in their curling careers, why not?
Oh, definitely. And definitely that's where the grizzled veteran, Don, is coming into play again here. He's a big help to Kevin in that regard.
Let's just check out how this ice is running right now with Kevin Martin's release, first rock at this end.
That looks like line's good.
Good.
Hard.
Wait's good.
No.
Okay.
No, lots of room. Lots of room. Lots of room.
Off then. Off.
Lots of room.
Wait's good.
Oh.
Line's good.
Yep. Hard. Freeze it up.
Hard. Come on, hard.
That's a good shot, Kevin said. If they get it there, that's going to be a great shot. That's a great shot.
That's a very nice shot. And as Kevin said seconds ago, that would make things very interesting. And again, what side of the fence are you on? If you're Frank Morissette, Mickey Pendergast, and debating just how interesting it is.
Yeah, they've got themselves in some trouble here now. You can see the brushers are sweeping this hard at the end. The line's good. Kevin just gets by the guard. Now they want to get it in their shot. Third shot before the yellow one there. That's a good shot. Kevin had great weight on that one.
What are the options here for Frank Morissette?
Frank's got he's in trouble, no doubt. If he can come around the outside and come around, hit the yellow angle, raise it onto the shot rock and sit behind there, that probably is his only out. He might not be shot rock, but he's certainly going to count out the front one, might cut Kevin down to 2. As far as a hit or anything on the inside, I don't think there's anything there.
You can't hit this one thin, that's all. Then it's 4. We got to pick.
Well, one of them's going to go.
Well, yeah, but 3's no good.
This one, I can only see about 2 inches of that thing, eh?
This?
Our yellow one.
Well, it's all you got to hit. It's up to you, Frank. If you hit this thick, probably these 2 go.
Let's play that one.
You don't have to throw peel, I don't think. Whatever you're coming, Norman will get rid of them, I think.
What do you guys like here? I like this one. Hit the one he just threw as thick as we can.
This is a big shot for the game here. If Morissette can get out of this end, even just giving up 2, I think he'd be more than happy with that now.
And that's the strategy he's gone with, is cut it down.
Okay. He's just trying to cut things down here and give up even his deuce he'd be happy with now. Martin team's made 3 or 4 really good draws around that corner guard in a row now, and
last rock, Frank Morissette, end number 3, trying to cut it down, facing 3 red ones.
Gonna have to get by the guard tight. Oh. Hit her as good as he could. That's the best he could do, and I think he was hoping to squirt a couple of them out.
Well, that leaves 2 Martin Stones in the house and a draw for Kevin Martin. Let's take another look at that. Rocked by Frank Morissette that was facing a very difficult situation.
He came by that about as tight as he could. I think Frank was hoping that he would drag the second rock out further and out of the rings, but just the way they were lined up, it wasn't going to go anywhere. Now Kevin's going to get control that he's been fighting for the first 3 ends, and this is going to be... He'll have a hard time getting back from this one.
That's what we're trying.
So Kevin will try the in-turn draw. He has backing. Last rock of end number 3, and this could be a pivotal rock as far as the scoring play is concerned in this 2000 Alberta Men's Championship.
Yeah, 3 is big. 3 is big for the Martin team.
Just clean it, clean it, clean it. Oh boy, Kevin.
They made some good shots towards the end of that end to get that 3.
No mistake. So Kevin Martin takes advantage of some great curling by his team, and end number 3, Martin with a 3-0 advantage over Frank Morissette at the 2000 Safeway Select in Medicine Hat.
Get your tickets for the world's hottest event on ice. The Labatt Brier 2000. The Big Freeze is coming. Call Select a Seat at 1-888-9687-888.
This is a warning to all you people who drink and drive. Alberta's getting tough on drunk drivers. Drunk drivers cause more death, pain, and destruction than all other serious crimes combined. If you're caught drinking and driving, you'll lose your license automatically. Alberta's getting tough on drunk drivers because drunk drivers are tough on Albertans.
Log on to the hottest sports website in Canada, ctvsportsnet.com. It's TV on demand with full streaming video of Sports Central, the Hesdy Awards, the hockey news, and ice time. Daily columns from some of the most respected sports journalists in Canada. Plus, all the breaking news, scores, and stats. So when you log on for sports information, there's only one place to go, ctvsportsnet.com.
Alberta rocks. For clinics and camps, call Alberta Rocks at 780-427-8095. Following curling catch-up and all the action of the sports world on another busy Sunday, it's Campbell and Toth for the late edition of CTV Sportsnet Sports Central. All the top stories of the day. Mike Toth and Jamie Campbell give you the complete details on Sports Central. Here in Medicine Hat, the details look like this. 3 ends are complete. Kevin Martin and his squad from the Otwell Curling Club. He at Edmonton leading Frank Morissette's West Winds Club out of Calgary 3-0.
Long game, boys. Forget it.
You just heard maybe briefly in the background, long game, boys, let's go get it, coming from Frank Morissette's team, and that's it. Now the job is to get a deuce and get back into this.
Yeah, they've got to get a deuce here to get back in the game. They can't get down about giving up the 3-ender. That's curling, and they've got to get a good end together now, make their shots like the Martin team did last end, and try good. A deuce would be a good start.
Okay. Right off.
So we see a different look to the start of this end, of course, with the hammer now belonging to Frank Morissette.
Bail.
He'll want to see lots of rocks in play.
Yep, Frank's going to try throw up the corner guard and get some rocks in play, and much like Kevin did last end, you could see how Kevin threw up the corner guard early. It didn't look like there was much happening with it, but the last 3-4 rocks at the end were all around the corner guard, and it ended up creating his opportunity.
Eugene Doherty now, and for these leads, certainly a different strategy for them for the first time in this championship game.
You bet. Eugene, he's a great team player. Gene's going to have a great career ahead of him. He's been with this team for 3 or 4 years, and adds a lot.
How have the leads stacked up so far in this 2000 Safeway Select Championship? Well, Don Bartlett curling 83% on 3 hits, 100% on 3 draws, 92% overall. Eugene Doherty, problem on 1 hit, 95% on his draws, 88% overall.
Those are excellent numbers. Those are the numbers you need from your lead in any kind of a championship. If you're going to go anywhere, your leads are a big part of setting up the ends and implementing the strategy you want to play. And both these guys are top-notch.
Don Bartlett, Eugene Doherty, both doing the job. Bartlett's second stone of the 4th end. Comes in deep, but they're going to hang around as long as Frank Morissette is in a position where he's trying to get his deuce. He's not going to move them very much.
No, I think Frank's going to try and just move those rocks around a bit. Try to keep them in play. He tries to hit and knock them out. I think you're going to see the Martin team switch to the hitting game pretty quick if they have an opportunity to. So Frank's just going to try bump the rocks around, maybe move them behind the tee line so that he can use them for a freeze attempt later on.
Keeping in play. Throwing just a gentle tap back weight. Eugene Doherty on the in-turn takeout.
These are tough shots, and these are where the leads really are worth their weight in gold.
Hard. You gotta whoa, easy now, easy. Whoa.
Wade Johnson and our team is really good at those touch shots like that.
Great shot.
He splits him up.
That's a nice roll right behind the corner guard.
Yeah. It's the best of both worlds, and that forces the Martin foursome to go after that guard. Carter Rycroft.
See how that corner guard came into play right away this end. They threw it up and were able to use it right away.
Off it goes, and now the strategy lands right back at Frank Morissette's court. 3 stones sitting in the house.
Got it. Just right out of there.
Frank's got a couple options. He can throw a rock into the red rocks there and try. The thing he has to be careful about coming into the house is setting up a double for the Martin team. They can throw that big weight with such accuracy that he'd have to really be careful. He's just going to throw a guard here, protect his shot rock, and then maybe later on in the end go after his deuce.
Kevin Pendergast.
Yep.
Throwing the out turn, trying to put up that guard. I think he likes the weight. You can hear the positive vibe is coming off the ice. It's nice.
Yeah, line looks good. Everything, sweepers are just cleaning. That's a good sign.
Nice shot.
So the seconds doing their job in end number 2, and so far through 3 ends, Carter Rycroft and Kevin Pendergast. 79% for Carter, and Kevin has been darn near perfect. When you're throwing 96% at second, can't ask much more from that.
No, that's right. Kevin curled well all week, and he's a real asset to that team.
Peeling off that guard is Carter Rycroft, and he certainly does what he was asked for. And again, we're in the same position with 3 rocks sitting there.
Carter, a couple years ago, was in the Canadian Junior finals and lost to John Morris from Ontario. And a year ago, curled with the Nedwin team in the final against us, and he curled exceptionally well all week that year. He's been strong all week this week, and I think you're going to see him around for a long, long time.
Same thing for Kevin Pendergast. Looking for the guard. They're just keeping it clean, and it'll wind up. Alberta has the distinction of being the final province to decide its representative to the 2000 Labatt Brier in Saskatoon. Everyone else has been decided through the day, and
just feel it, I think.
Through tonight, we will let you know some of the names that will be attending the Brier. Closely, just 2 hours down the road in Swift Current, Saskatchewan, Bruce Corty from Saskatoon claimed that honor, just one of the many.
Bruce, I think, that's his first win out of Saskatchewan, and I think he'll be a popular home team.
There's a number of firsts, and then there's a couple of familiars in Russ Howard and Jeff Stout out of Manitoba and New Brunswick.
Yep, Stoughton's going to be back to try retain his Brier title. They've been a good team all year, very solid. They put a lot of time and effort into the game, and they're probably going to go in as one of the favorites, I would guess.
You're the champ. Until you're beaten, you're the champ.
Yeah.
Forward weight.
3 rocks still stick around. After
getting to that point in the end now where Frank's not quite sure as to where to position the rocks. If he throws another guard, they might try the run back. He could try to throw it in the house, but again, you have to watch against the double.
Mickey Pendergast with his first stone of N4.
Hard! Right. Push hard! Right up.
Doherty and Kevin Pendergast working hard right from the onset. They've been right on it. Take out and he'll stick around. 2 yellows now in the house. The third men have been busy, as you might expect, in this championship game. Don Walchuk curling at 83%, 100% on all the hits, 67% on the draws. Mickey Pendergast,
I guess we'll have a
he's been kind of playing that defensive game. He's had to come up with some very difficult shots throughout the course of the first 3 ends, and 67% is his total.
Yeah, Mickey's rack of the center guard last end kind of opened the door for the Martin team to start using that corner guard and getting their 3. Mickey, he'll turn it around. He's a good shooter.
Oh, let's hit this. It's too tough.
Well, they're already playing a different style in this 4th end. Looking for their deuce to get right back in it.
Martin's just trying to play a hit and roll here off the yellow and in behind the other yellow. Maybe try and line up a tougher shot for the Morissette team. The angles are just too steep for the double.
Don Walchuk will try to do that. Looking for that gentle roll. A little bit deeper into the rings. He gets a roll. He's wide open, but at this point, it again puts Frank Morissette and Mickey Pendergast in a strategy situation where they see what's in line. And here comes Mickey to take a look. Let's listen in and hear what they have to think about this.
Wherever we roll is going to leave him a double, eh? Can we do this?
Yeah, but if you hit half rock and roll over here,
I won't be that deep for that weight, hey?
Tough double.
You can hear them talking about the danger of coming down, rolling over here. That's going to leave Kevin the double off his own, off the 2 yellow rocks.
Play this? Well, I don't know if it's smarter or dumber. If I roll to here.
Well, I'm fine with that if you want. Just hit about half a rock. Still going to have a double.
That's the thing with the Martin team. You really have to be careful of their big weight and their double ability to make those big shots.
Maybe then be even instead of just hitting that thing.
See what they think.
Well, they can't. It depends on the depths of those rocks. They can't tell us anything.
Last one curled a lot, eh? Let's do it. I like this.
Okay. Same kind of weight?
Yep.
So the call is here. He's going to try and come down, hit 3/4 of a rock, roll to the outside. He's going to leave Kevin some sort of a double, but I don't think that can be helped with the way the rocks are set up this end.
A lot of aspects change a curling game in regards to strategy. That 3 points just make you think that much harder about not only your shot, but what you're leaving the opposition.
Yeah. Yeah, curling at this level is very much a game of not just the shot you're actually playing now, but 2 or 3 shots down the line, almost like a chess match in some regards.
Mickey Pendergast going after the redstone belonging to Kevin Martin's foursome, trying to roll over just a little bit, but he's hanging out there.
Yeah, it looks like this is hanging out a little too much.
And it does sail by the redstone. You could hear Frank Morissette in the background saying he threw it out there just a little bit.
I threw it good. Fairly
yeah. Yeah, he just got outside, and the one thing you have to watch this week too is the 4-foot lines. If you get outside the 4-foot lines, it will ride a little straighter with that little more weight.
So Kevin Martin again. Yep. Going after this yellow stone, he would have 3 red counters sitting in the house. Makes the hit, rolls over. He's not going to hang around. That leaves 2 red there.
Kevin could have gone on the offensive there and tried to steal a point or got a little more aggressive. But he's more than happy here to force the Morissette team to take their one, get their brick back, and be up by 2.
We're looking at a hit and roll behind cover.
Yeah, Frank's going to try and hit the red on the 4-foot and roll in behind the corner red.
More than that.
Just control.
Just going to throw quiet control weight. Try and hit and roll in behind the corner red.
With the ice running as straight as it has been, even that inch or 2 of broom difference got to kind of be a gut-wrenching decision because you just don't know what you're going to get.
No, that's right. It's all on delivery and on weight with this ice.
Yep.
No.
Whoa.
No.
Yep. Whoa. Whoa.
Just needs it to come up a bit here at the end.
Close.
Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Pretty close. Going to get a roll.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Great shot, Frankie.
That's a great shot.
Frank Morissette coming up with a pistol, and Kevin Martin and Frank Morissette through 3 ends. Kevin with 92% on those 3 hits and made a couple of dandies in end number 1. At 83% overall, Frank Morissette has been faced time after time with some very difficult shots, particularly in end number 3. As a result, he sits at 63%.
Actually, Frank's had some tough shots, in all fairness to him. It's early in the game. I'm sure his percentage will be higher. Kevin's got to play a run back now of his own onto the yellow and run it straight back. And Kevin's awful good at these.
Yep. Hard.
On it immediately.
Hard. Hard. Harder. Hard.
Attaboy.
Run back it is as he takes the stone belonging to Frank Morissette out of play. His own rock sits there, biting the 8-foot.
That's an example of where Frank made his as good as he possibly could. It just left Kevin. He had to leave Kevin something. Kevin made it. There's not much else Frank could do there.
And we've talked about this earlier in the match. At least in Alberta, I don't think anybody plays the run back as often and maybe as well as Kevin Martin.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe in Canada and perhaps be so bold around the world.
Definitely, yeah. Between Walchuk and Martin, I mean, that'd be a good one-on-one as far as making run backs. They both can make them all day long.
Frank Morissette tried to blank the end.
This is big that he hits and rolls out and maintains last rock.
And indeed, Frank Morissette does the job. The hit and roll out. We have a blank in end number 4. So we played 4 complete ends. Martin leads Morissette 3-0 at the 2000 Safeway Select at the Medicine Hat Curling Club. Alberta rocks. For clinics and camps, call Alberta Rocks at 780-427-8095.
This is a warning to all you people who drink and drive. Alberta's getting tough on drunk drivers. Drunk drivers cause more death, pain, and destruction than all other serious crimes combined. If you're caught drinking and driving, you'll lose your license automatically. Alberta's getting tough on drunk drivers because drunk drivers are tough on Albertans.
Get your tickets for the world's hottest event on ice. The Labatt Brier 2000. The Big Freeze is coming. Call Select a Seat at 1-888-9687-888.
The home for big-time and big event sports coverage is CTV Sportsnet. Hockey's best games and biggest stars are on the net. Join Jim Houston and Craig Simpson for NHL Game Night throughout the season and into the playoffs. Sportsnet is also hot with NBA hoop action, featuring local coverage of the Raptors and Grizzlies. But whatever your game, tune into Sports Central with an expert team of hosts, analysts, and reporters. We're your sports source 24/7. CTV Sportsnet. Game day, every day.
3-0, Kevin Martin in front, trying to claim his 6th Alberta Provincial Men's Curling Championship here at the Safeway Select. And there's a look at the Morissette supporters donning their snowflakes, as you talked about earlier, Brent. No two alike. Frank Morissette is looking for 2.
What turn you on, Donnie?
2 is the operative word here to get back into it at N5.
Yeah, Frank's going to be going after his 2 points here again. He had it set up for a while, that end, but like I said, the Martin team, they can turn it around in a hurry, and you're going to have to make everything pretty much exactly how you call it.
3 blanks so far, and 3 in the third.
Okay.
3s are wild as we start the 5th, and Don Bartlett with his first stone.
Kevin's same strategy we've seen the first 4 ends. Into the house, there'll be a corner guard thrown up, and hopefully it'll get some use later on.
Kevin Martin, of course, very, very busy this year, as he normally is. I want to mention something about the Kevin Martin Junior Bonspiel, 2nd annual, taking place at the Otwell in Edmonton and the Avonayre, April 14th to 18th. 96 young teams involved in this. Junior eligibility, $25,000 prize money coming up. This is a very unique junior spiel Kevin puts on in the city of Edmonton. John Morris, current world champion, actually won this spiel 1 year ago.
Yeah, Kevin's done a really good job with that spiel, and Kevin's very involved in curling. I mean, he owns a curling store. He's on the World Curling Tour executive. He's very involved in the sport and gives a lot back as far as time and commitment.
If you're a young team, want to take part.
Line's tighter.
780-463-2622 in Edmonton, and Kevin will help you out. Very successful in its first year. Canada Safeway, a big part of the Kevin Martin Junior Bonspiel, as it is here at the Safeway Select 2000 Men's Championship. And Martin going to guard his stone that's sitting in the house in the 5th end. Is coming atop the 12-foot.
Little different strategy this time. Last end, Kevin threw both of them into the house and saw that Frank was just trying to move things around, bump him around, and he's going to try the same thing again. Kevin put this one out front and maybe tried to get Frank to play a little more aggressive and with the center line, try steal one.
Whoa. Eugene Doherty with his second rock and final rock of this, the 5th end.
Mine.
This again shows the importance of the lead. If they can position these rocks around and get the end set up from the start, like I said before, one small mistake here or there makes it tough. That's a great shot by Eugene.
And a couple of rocks, one in particular at the back there in the 12 for backing. The other stone, quite usable as well, is sitting in the 4-foot.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see here, here's a good example again. There's a shot made probably as well as you can make it, and just as called, but yet you've left Kevin's team the double kill. He's going to try kill both guards here, and really that's going to leave Frank nothing in play.
Carter Rycroft going after that guard in front. He gets one, he touches the other, and now there's 3 rocks sitting in the house. As Carter peeled off the guard in front, which is probably most dangerous for Kevin at this point.
Yeah, he hit that a little too thick, and that was kind of a bad result. Bumping it into the house, it's kind of 3/4 frozen. Now he's playing a freeze out onto the red rock on the outside of the rings.
Kevin Pendergast trying to get things started.
Line's good.
Right, Sal.
Sure, nice to hear Sandra Schmerler on TV today and see that she's doing well. Certainly wish her all the best from our team. We got to know her quite well through the Olympic trials in Brandon, and I'm sure she's going to fight hard, and we certainly look forward to seeing her back curling soon.
And all curling fans and all sports fans across the country, arguably the greatest
across the top a little bit.
female curler ever.
Yeah, she is, and I mean, a great ambassador, not only for the sport of curling, but for her country when she goes out into the world, and I'll tell you, she's just a world-class lady.
We're welcome everyone in, be it Regina, be it Winnipeg, be it Whitehorse, here in Alberta, to the Safeway Select Championship. Kevin Martin's team out of Edmonton leading Frank Morissette's team out of Calgary by a score of 3-0.
You can see, you probably won't see the Morissette team throwing too many takeouts from here on in. They want to just kind of bump rocks around. They don't want to remove anything. The Martin team will take care of removing all the rocks in play.
How's the weight? Got a curl. Got a curl. Keep it clean. Keep it clean. Well, got a curl. Got a curl.
The advantage of keeping the rock that they're throwing now over on this side of the sheet is that Kevin can't play a double. He'll in danger of jamming onto his own rocks. So it's kind of set up pretty good this end for Frank.
4 rocks in play. These two teams battling into the 5th end. Let's take a look at some more statistics for you. Average point totals in the round robin. Kind of indicative of the two teams. The Martin team obviously being able to score over a point more than Frank Morissette, but on the other hand, defensively speaking, Morissette keeping the other teams down a little bit more, over half a point.
Yeah, those numbers are quite surprising. I would have thought there would have been more offense. Those are pretty low-scoring averages. Martin team usually is good for 6-7 points a game, I would have thought.
Don Walchuk looking for the take out of that Yellowstone that's just fighting the 4-foot. Gets it done, and he was actually hoping to kind of kill his own red rock in the back, too, at the same time. Wasn't able to do so.
Get rid of the stupid back one. But
Yeah, Kevin's just trying to keep as many rocks out of play as he can. That rock's no help to him back there. And again, you're going to probably just see you're just going to see the Morissette team probably bump another red rock in behind the tee line in hopes of jamming a rock on there later.
These are 2 of 8 teams participating in the Alberta Championship this year. Average percentages as far as the teams were concerned is always a revealing statistic. Mike Vavrick, who did make the playoff round, actually had his group at 86% this week. But then, tied at 85%, Frank Morissette and Kevin Martin. And here they are in the championship final. Lowell Peterman, who had a fine championship as well, and had a very, very good year, along with Rob Buchholz of Edmonton. Lowell Peterman out of the Red Deer Curling Club, 82%. Rick Snethen, very interesting story out of Wainwright. You know, he grew up with Kevin Martin in Lougheed, Alberta.
Yeah, I believe they're from the same hometown.
You can't wait for
Population 200, if I'm wrong, Lougheed, 214, I believe. I could stand to be corrected.
And I think all of them were here this weekend cheering on the Snethen squad. It was they had a big following here this week. They can certainly hold their heads high. They had a good week. I think those numbers as far as percentages are very indicative of good ice conditions the teams have had here this week. Rick Sweet and his ice crew came in and did a really, really good job here this week.
Mickey Pendergast with rock, and it sets up an interesting end here. An interesting end. Let's take a look at this stone by Mickey.
Yeah, this is a really good shot. They're lining the rocks up really well this end, Morissette team. Kevin's got 3 of his own in there, and I'm sure there's way too many rocks in play for Kevin this end. But they're going to be throwing, Walchuk will be throwing a high hard one here, trying to clear some of those red rocks, yellow rocks, everything else. So,
well, he hits this one right. There is the potential for 4 to go.
Oh, yeah. and Don throws it hard enough that there'll be 4 of them moving, I wouldn't doubt.
Could clear the house. This stone, Don Walchuk will be throwing the high, hard one. Hurry! That only moves 2, so I think that Frank Morissette has to be heartened by that. I would suggest that as a minor victory, because it could have been quite a bit different with 4 stones going rather than just 2.
It certainly could, actually. That didn't turn out too bad for the Morissette team. It is going to leave Kevin probably some kind of a double again. Morissette team certainly not going to take any rocks out. They want to bump this back, try and create a wall of granite back there that's going to try to keep some of their rocks in the house.
So Frank Morissette going after that stone that's just touching the 4. Is Mickey trying to just push that back a little bit?
Yeah, ideally he'd bump that back right beside the red rock that's back there and create a nice wall so that if Kevin throws something hard down there, he maybe can jam one of their yellow rocks onto it.
Might have turned this one inside a little bit. They have not touched it.
Okay. Yeah, it's running pretty straight. He's going to line up a double here.
Just brushes off that red rock. Kevin Martin working it hard. It'll stay around in the 12, but the run back is there. But
got to try it. Yeah. Carlin knows.
They'll wonder about perhaps jamming it, I wonder.
Yeah. Let's see, he probably just got this back a bit. Frank said he got it back. He had the right weight. I mean, he had the right weight to bump it back to the back of the house. It just didn't have the line.
Yes.
Well, they're going after the run back, and I guess the only real concern here is if they do jam it on that Yellowstone.
If he jams it on the nose, I mean, he's probably going to leave them sitting second shot. But Kevin will be throwing a little bit of weight on this one again.
Yep. Hard.
Kevin Martin.
Hard.
Going after this aggressively.
Harder. Hard. Hard.
I think he might have overcurled this one a bit. Yeah.
Well, there it sits. That Yellowstone still sitting there.
I set that even a little bit. Sorry, man. I threw that pretty
Kevin's
good.
still not in too bad shape. He's still sitting 1 and 2, and Frank's going to have to make something pretty good here in order to get his deuce.
Just rolls away over to the 12.
Darn.
But now Frank Morissette's strategy here. After that shot by Kevin Martin, again, the opportunity does present itself. That deuce is still alive.
Yeah, the deuce is still alive. He's going to have to make a kind of a quiet weight double here. Again, the danger is coming down, making the double. He could come off this one and jam onto his own. So he's going to have to hit the second red rock very thin. Frankie's been looking at a lot of tough shots this game. Going to have to really make some good shots here to get back in it.
This is, of course, the Morissette foursome's second game in the span now of 6 hours and 20 minutes. On a championship day, that's a lot of curling, and that's the advantage of winning the round robin. You don't play much.
Yeah, Kevin's had some time to rest and relax. With the same regard, I mean, Morissette's team's got some momentum going. They've won a game to get here today, and on the same sheet of ice. So.
Right off.
They're leaving that one alone as well.
No, right
Doesn't
off.
look like either the ice isn't moving as much or the...
Well, that moves them around again at the back of the house. The one rock belonging to Kevin Martin, I believe, is rolled out of the rings at the back. And there's two yellow that are sitting in the 12, not quite out of the rings, just getting a bite at the 12-foot. The other red is almost full in the 12-foot. Still the two yellows counting.
It was a good shot, as it turned out. It wasn't the shot they were playing. They did end up sitting too, but that's not that tough of a double for Kevin. He's got to hit about a half a rock here, and if he does that, he's going to force Frank to take his one, and Kevin will certainly be in control.
Try not to overthrow this.
Kevin Martin's final rock of end number 5, leading it 3-0. Trying once again to force Frank Morissette to take the single.
Yeah. He needs about a half a rock double here, and I don't think Kevin has to overthrow it. Just use up weights and...
Clean. No. Clean. No.
Yeah, but Martin
got it good.
They hardly touched a broom to it. It was confidently thrown, and there he is, rolling both yellows out of the house. And now there's not much there for Frank Morissette except to take that single that he did not want to do.
Yeah, you bet. Taking one now is really going to force the Morissette team to try and get some rocks in play, and they're going to have to turn on the offense and try and get some rocks in play and steal one in the next few ends here to get back in this game.
Stuck it a bit.
Those of us that have followed Alberta Provincial Championships over the last decade
What's the lead here?
have seen the tide turn on occasion before.
Oh, definitely. No, and I mean, both teams know that. By no means is there any give up or anything like that happening. I mean, you take your one here and then you focus on the next end and try and get back into this. The Martin team on the other side is well aware that this game is far from over.
Frank Morissette with his final stone of end number 5 has some backing sitting there in the back of the 8-foot. Playing the outturned draw. Been a while since he's had an opportunity to make the draw, but it looks like the weight's fine. And again, that great front end Frank Morissette has, sucking that rock back in there.
Yeah, he's got a really strong sweeping front end, and it's a good test. Get his draw weight down. I think he's going to need the next few ends when he's going to be coming around some center guards, hopefully.
So Frank Morissette draws into the house and does stick around for his first point of the game. Narrows the margin to 2 after 5 ends of play. It's now 3-1. Kevin Martin leading Frank Morissette after 5 ends of play. We'll take a break and be back to Medicine Hat.
Get your tickets for the world's hottest event on ice. The Labatt Brier 2000. The Big Freeze is coming. Call Select a Seat at 1-888-9687-888.
This is a warning to all you people who drink and drive. Alberta's getting tough on drunk drivers. Drunk drivers cause more death, pain, and destruction than all other serious crimes combined. If you're caught drinking and driving, you'll lose your license automatically. Alberta's getting tough on drunk drivers because drunk drivers are tough on Albertans.
Get in the game. Call your local association. Alberta rocks. For clinics and camps, call Alberta Rocks at 780-427-8095.
CTV Sportsnet is proud to present the Safeway Select Alberta Men's Provincial Curling Championships, brought to you by Alberta Transportation. Alberta's getting tough on drunk drivers. By Olson's Canada, the largest manufacturer of curling equipment in the world. And by Quick Card Dental Plans, fast, easy, convenient. Welcome back to the Medicine-Hat Curling Club, where after 5 ends of this Safeway Select Alberta Men's Provincial Curling Championship, the gentleman beside me, Kevin Martin of Edmonton, leads Frank Morissette of Calgary by a count of 3-1. Kevin, you told us yesterday when we spoke about your strategy, you wanted to be very aggressive in the early going and hope to possibly get a break and maybe a deuce. Well, as it turned out, you got a 3 in end number 3. Your thoughts on that end?
Well, it turned out really a little advantageous, actually. We came in and bumped with Walchuk's 1 stone. Donnie bumped it a little, and I really thought that Frank would be able to make the double, and he just flipped it a little on his first one. And then the guy swept my first one well into the crotch, and we had him for sure for 2, and it turned out to be 3.
I've always kind of wanted to ask you what it's like to be in this situation, because it's your 6th chance at winning a provincial title. So in one breath, a lot of the pressure is on you to win. In another breath, if the other team that you're playing also can feel some pressure too, because you're expected to win and they know they've got to play great to beat you. Your thoughts on that?
All it is just high stress out here. I think it's for both of us. Man, it's exciting stuff, and you know, you look forward to it in some weird way, I guess. But man, it's hard on you.
Kevin, thanks for joining us. Best of luck. Get a little rest, as you said to me a few minutes ago. There's a long way to go.
You bet. Thanks.
For some skips in this country and curling teams, there's not a long way to go, as the run for the Brier is complete for many in BC. Greg McCauley is on his way to the championship final with a victory. Defending Canadian champion Jeff Stoughton is on his way to Saskatoon with an 8-3 victory over Dave Spriggs. Rousel over Blandford 6-5 in that particular championship. In Halifax, the Nova Scotia Championship won by Sean Adams today. Elsewhere, in Swift Current, Bruce Cordy of Saskatoon knocking off Glenn Despins in Swift Current by a count of 10-5. And a championship so many had their eyes on today in Nepean, Ontario. Wayne Madaw, a favorite of many to go back to the Brier, taking on Peter Corner. They used to be the lead and second for Russ Howard in the championship days. This is a key shot. Corner leading by a count of 4-3 in end number 8, and he's lying 1. Madaw trying to come up with a draw, but as you can tell, it's a little light. He gives up a huge steal of 1, and Corner leads it 5-3 after 8. So here it is. It boils down 5-4 last rock for Peter Corner, trying to win a provincial title for the first time as a skip. And he yells at it all the way down. The sweepers work at it nicely. And as you're going to see very shortly, there it is. Peter Corner on his way to the Labatt Brier, courtesy of the victory over Wayne Madaw. And oh, the pictures tell a few words in this shot, or what, with a 6-4 victory. Congratulations to Peter Corner in his rink. Right here in Medicine Hat at the Curling Club, Kevin Martin in the Safeway Select Championship, leading Frank Morissette 3-1 after 5 ends. We'll be back with more from Medicine Hat after this timeout.
This is a warning to all you people who drink and drive. Alberta's getting tough on drunk drivers. Drunk drivers cause more death, pain, and destruction than all other serious crimes combined. If you're caught drinking and driving, you'll lose your license automatically. Alberta's getting tough on drunk drivers because drunk drivers are tough on Albertans.
The Safeway Select Curling Championships derive their name from Canada Safeway's signature line of select products. There are now more than 600 select items available, all maintaining the same quality standards that were established when Select Cola was first introduced in 1995.
Safeway's brand of premium label product is the Safeway Select, and it's always our concern that the quality of product is where our customers expect it to be and meets those expectations.
Since their introduction, Safeway Select products have been recognized by their customers and the grocery industry for their gold-class quality and taste.
Nothing is ever released from this plant if it doesn't meet the exact specifications given to us by Safeway.
With over 600 premium brand Safeway Select products to choose from, each with a shared reputation for quality and value, it's only a matter of selecting the time for Select the product.
Get in the game. Call your local association. Five ends complete here at the Medicine Hat Curling Club. And Kevin Martin with a 3-1 lead over Frank Morissette of Calgary. And maybe the turning point so far, if you like it, is the third end. Frank Morissette has to make the hit here, Brent McDonald.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, he hit that probably about as well as he probably could have. And, I mean, that's just the way they were lined up.
It was just almost insurmountable. That's how tough that was. And Frank Morissette looks on, realizing he probably did all he could, but it still left a pair. Then Kevin Martin was an easy draw for 3. So after 5 ends of play, here's how it looks. The score, of course, 3-1 for Kevin Martin. Team percentages, Martin with 86%. Frank Morissette's group out of Calgary, respectable 81. On the hit, obviously Kevin Martin, one of the things they do best is they hit very well, and on the draw, almost even. The hit's the big difference, and that's what Kevin Martin's foursome does as good as anyone.
Yeah, definitely. Their hitting game is as strong as there is out there on the World Curling Tour, and they'll keep it up this next 5 ends.
So Kevin Martin with a leg up, trying to get his 6th, count them, 6th Provincial Curling Championship here in the province of Alberta. 5 of them in the 90s, and of course being so dominant. 6 belong to Cliff Manahan. In fact, if you look back in the history of the province of Alberta and go back to the 30s and 40s, Cliff Manahan has 6 titles as well. And if Kevin Martin can hold on over the next 5 ends, he would tie Cliff Manahan for that honor of having 6 consecutive crowns, or 6 crowns overall, rather, as far as provincial championships are concerned. The Alberta Sports Hall of Fame, as far as Brier champions are concerned, I mean, just take a look for yourself. This province has been adorned with some wonderful curling champions over the years, from Matt Baldwin of Edmonton to Heck Gervais of St. Albert, Calgary's Ron Northcott, Eddie Lukowicz, who won right here in Medicine Hat back in 1978, here at the Medicine Hat Curling Club, also in 86, the Ryan Express, Pat Ryan, so dominant in the latter part of the 80s, and of course, Kevin Martin has won 2 Brier championships. 91 and 97, along with the 5 provincial titles. So, again, the Alberta Hall of Fame adorned with Brier champs. Sixth end action is underway. After taking the solo in N5, Frank Morissette, team will lead off, and Eugene Doherty will throw one in to a guard position.
I think equally as impressive as Kevin's, 5 provincial championships, you said. Don Walchuk has 6 under his belt already. He's going for 7. And he went through the Ryan Express. He was a part of that team, and now he's also a part of another winning team. So he's very strong. Don's a big part of this team.
When you win that piece of felt, and you know what that feels like, to do it again and again that often tells it's a very telling story.
Yeah, it is. And in talking to Don, I curled with Don for a couple of years, and he told the story over and over again of how much he enjoyed getting to the Brier, going to the Brier, and what it all involved. And we were fortunate enough last year to get there, and it was a thrill.
I think he threw it pretty good. Well, lots of curling action on CTV Sportsnet. Coming up next Sunday, February 20th on Sportsnet. Catch the final of the Sports Select Skins game from Winnipeg. There are the times in your region. Again, the Sports Select Skins game on CTV Sportsnet.
Try the roll.
But matters at hand. The 2000 Safeway Select Alberta Men's Championship. Frank Morissette playing a little catch-up here, looking for the steal to draw ever closer in this championship game. Eugene Doherty will go after the Kevin Martin stone and then move it around in the house at very least.
Yeah, actually now they're to a point where they have to take the rocks out of play. While they have to be aggressive and try and get a steal here, they also have to be very careful they don't give up another 2 or 3-ender and put them really behind the 8 ball.
Nice rock. Taps it back. It's going to go all the way out of the house. Gets under a little cover there, but I think he's exposed by about a half a rock at least. But Kevin will go after the guard.
Yeah, Kevin's just going to try and peel things down now and keep it fairly simple. He's got a real good hitting team. Donnie Bartlett here, if he hits 9/10 of the rock, runs it back, he'll kill them both and roll over to a corner guard.
And Don Bartlett sprawling out on the ice to take a real good look at it, getting the line. Peels it away, and again, it's unguarded, that yellow stone. Belongs to Eugene Doherty and the Frank Morissette foursome. Kevin Pendergast will get in the hack and do his thing as well.
They've got to try and keep the rocks in a real straight line, like one in front of the other, and they can't be too close together. I mean, just a little mistake as far as a rock over curling by a half a rock or 3/4 of a rock is going to leave the Martin team a chance at a double to get out of the end.
Easy.
That's the key against a team like Kevin. You've got to, and that's probably why they're as good as they are. You've got to make everything absolutely perfect and hope that that's going to be good enough to beat them.
The guard out front for Frank Morissette's team. Carter Rycroft will again be asked to remove the guard. Any jitters the 22-year-old had at the start of the game are quite likely, gone after 5 ends of play. And again, he was here last year with Dave Nedowin's foursome in the championship final against your guys.
Yeah, Carter is, he comes to play every day. I mean, he's solid, he's a good sweeper, he's got a great attitude out on the ice.
Got a curl.
I mentioned before, he's going to be around for a long time. And it's nice to see the young kids, when they come up from juniors, a lot of them now are throwing front end for a lot of the better teams. And what that does is gives them an idea of how the men's game is played. There is a difference, I think. And it enables them to get out there into the top class curling, pay their dues a little bit, so to speak, and then they can move on and skip.
Kevin Pendergast does what he was called upon with another guard. Carter Rycroft will try to duplicate his last shot.
I don't want you to sweep it. He had a chunk, but that's all.
And he does indeed knock it off. So again, that yellow rock sits there all by its lonesome. Kevin Martin will be very patient, I would think, and if the opportunity presents itself to blank end after end after end, in spite of the score being 3-1, he'll be quite comfortable if that's the case.
Kevin would take a 3-1 win any day now. He's just going to try and keep things as simple as they can. Hopefully they don't get into too much trouble and try and run them out of rocks.
Mickey Pendergast with his first stone, trying to add some trouble to Kevin Martin's life.
Let it curl if you can. Very hard.
Come on, hard.
Mickey's had a bit of a tough game here so far, and he really is going to have to pick it up here for the last 5 innings.
Hard.
Very concerned with the weight, trying to just get it over the hog line. You going to get it over the hog? No, they are not. That kind of adds insult to injury at this time, and
yeah, that's a tough miss. Now Kevin's got his blank or very defensive end that he wants.
Past provincial champions of the Safeway Select, the Alberta Championship in the 1990s, Harold Breckenridge of Calgary started things off in 90, and then Kevin Martin's run of 5, 91, 92, 95, 96, 97, including Brier Championships in 91 and 97. Greg Firster of the Leduc, Eddie Lukowicz, our CTV Sportsnet analyst, also in the mix, Kenny Hunka, and Tommy Reed of Edmonton as well.
The dawn of a new century here. Martin's wanting to see start the next 10 years the same by the looks of it.
They make the takeout there, Don Walchuk, and Kevin doesn't miss those opportunities either. He knows this is the first of 2000.
Hit it ain't let you want to go around.
Oh yeah, Kevin was all year. They've been working towards this and wanting to get to the Brier again. I know Kevin really wanted to get there last year with it being in Edmonton and all, and just didn't work out for them. But they're a hungry team this year. It's been a few years since he's been back to the Brier.
Well, it's a whole 5 hours away. It's not that long a drive in Saskatoon.
That's right.
And whoever gets there will have the honor of representing Alberta.
Yeah.
Don Walchuk in the hack, hit and roll. Donnie coming back with an opportunity to go to the Brier, and he's been there before and is excited about that chance.
I've been to 6 of them now, and 7 would be great, but the reason I want to get back is I've won 3 championships, and I'd like to get to 4. And there's only a couple of people that have ever done that, and it's sort of a goal of mine.
And he's trying to reach his goal by making takeouts. As he was telling us about his opportunity, he did exactly what Don Walchuk has done time after time after time in his brilliant career of curling here in Canada. Make a takeout, rolling out, and the house is wide open, and Frank Morissette has to settle back into the hack.
Another special thing for Don, I'm sure, is that he's from Saskatchewan. His parents are still out in Saskatchewan, so going to the Brier in Saskatoon will be a great thrill for him. I believe he's from Melville.
Draw opportunity for Frank Morissette, and they have been few and far between in this affair.
Yeah, it's given Frank a chance to get his draw weight down. Hopefully he's going to be able to use that in the next few ends here. Soaring up a tight guard by the looks of it. Kevin could try come around and get his juice and then be offensive here, but there's no need to. He's got this end under control. He'll probably try for the blank again and on to 7th end.
Frank puts it in the top of the house, and Frank Morissette's had a distinguished career. Again, Wayne Sokolowski won the 1976 Provincial Championship. Frank was his 3rd man. Provincial Mixed Championships, well, that's just a matter of course for Frank. He's won 4 of them, 89, 92, 93, 94, and leads the way with this team from Calgary. Calgary rink in the final, good to see. The West Wind Curling Club, Frank Morissette, 49 years young, meeting Kevin Martin here tonight.
Anytime you can win 3 provincial championships in a row like he did with the mixed, that's pretty impressive.
Doggone right it is. Martin with the takeout, and Kevin peels it off quite nicely. When you talk of achievements in the 1990s especially, what about Kevin Martin? Well, he's done it all from the junior level, where he was a big-time champion, to 5 provincial champions, 2 Canadian championships, Brier wins in 91 and 97. A bit of a different look with his team, with Carter Rycroft in at 2nd, but nonetheless, the man that stands right beside him, Don Walchuk, has shared a lot of the success of the 90s with Kevin Martin. Don Bartlett has as well, and now Carter Rycroft trying to be part of the mix as well.
Yeah, Carter, I mean, it was a tough choice for him, I'm sure, this year. He went from a team, Dave Nedwin, Randy Furby. I mean, that was a great team. They had a great year last year, and Nedwin ended up having a great year this year on the cash bill circuit. They won 4 or 5 cash bills.
Well, you know all about him. You play them lots, and Dave Nedwin's team. Randy Furby at 3rd, and actually is a very key member of that team. Dave coming over from Manitoba a few years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a good team. I would expect they probably stay together next year and give the Olympic trials a shot.
Wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. As Morissette's stone goes deep into the house, and Kevin will go back again, try to get rid of that one if he can. Dave Netherwood, married to Heather Netherwood, who just happens to be the 2000 Alberta Ladies Curling Champion. Going over to Prince George for the Scott Tournament of Hearts, coming right up to try to claim a crown for Alberta, but she'll have lots of competition.
I think that was an upset of sorts. I mean, going into that Ladies Championship, there was 3 really strong teams from Southern Alberta that you probably would have had to favor, but all the credit to Heather and her team, and it's a very young team.
Oh boy.
They curled great and certainly earned the victory.
Kevin Martin's final stone. Last rock, event number 6. Hitting for the hit and roll if he can get it.
That's a beauty.
Gets a little more of it than he would like, but does the roll. You heard him say that's a beauty, but I guess you can laugh in the end when you get your hit and roll out, and indeed he does. So they blank end number 6. 3-1, Kevin Martin leads at the 2000 Safeway Select in Medicine Hat.
Get your tickets for the world's hottest event on ice. The Labatt Brier 2000. The Big Freeze is coming. Call Select a Seat at 1-888-9687-888.
This is a warning to all you people who drink and drive. Alberta's getting tough on drunk drivers. Drunk drivers cause more death, pain, and destruction than all other serious crimes combined. If you're caught drinking and driving, you'll lose your license automatically. Alberta's getting tough on drunk drivers because drunk drivers are tough on Albertans.
The home for big-time and big-event sports coverage is CTV Sportsnet. Hockey's best games and biggest stars are on the net. Join Jim Houston and Craig Simpson for NHL Game Night throughout the season and into the playoffs. Sportsnet is also hot with NBA hoop action, featuring local coverage of the Raptors and Grizzlies. But whatever your game, tune into Sports Central with an expert team of hosts, analysts, and reporters. We're your sports source 24/7. CTV Sportsnet. Game day, every day.
Alberta rocks. For clinics and camps, call Alberta Rocks at 780-427-8095. Coming up tomorrow night on CTV Sportsnet, it's Calgary Flames hockey. Catch Kevin Quinn and John Garrett with all the action. The Flames take on the Los Angeles Kings from the Staples Center in Los Angeles, 8:30 Mountain Time. The Flames and Kings on CTV Sportsnet. It takes a lot of people to make a provincial championship. Canada Safeway, our title sponsor, the Safeway Select 2000 Championship, and we thank each and every one of our sponsors that bring along great curling action in the province of Alberta and throughout the entire country of Canada. There's a look at what the Leads have done after 6 ends of play. You can't get much closer than that, Brent.
I think I'd take either one. Yeah, those are pretty good numbers. Both guys are curling great and setting up the ends as the skips want.
And Eugene Doherty doing his thing like he does. Putting it right into the guard position. If it'll sit there for a little while anyway, or it should, according to the 3-rock rule.
That's right, yeah. One thing I noticed this week in looking at the numbers, the Red Rocks sure dominated as far as victories. That was really a figure that stood out.
It certainly did. At about 74%, it stood out. In fact, at the end of the round robin, Red Rocks won 20 of 28 matches. By the way, they won all 3 playoffs as well.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's a matter of that, with the Rocks being that much better, but Red Rocks also got last rock. That's also an advantage that any team throwing the Red Rocks got last rock advantage, so that might have something to do with it.
Little roll action happening here on the stone by Don Bartlett. But still 2 rocks in play, and now opportunity exists for Frank Morissette to try to make something happen, try to force the issue with 2 rocks in front.
Yeah, that actually Don's shot's not that bad. He played it tight, rubbed off to a corner guard, which Kevin can use later to try and get his deuce.
Clean it, Mick. Clean it.
Eugene Doherty again.
Keep
His
it clean.
second stone of end number
Come on.
7.
Come on, Furlong, come on. How much you got?
Almost looks like it's starting to move a little more now. The rocks are starting to move a little more. I wonder if the layoff didn't give the ice a little more swing.
And then it's a whole new ball game.
Yeah, it makes it tough.
The intern goes so straight,
He bumps his stone into the rings, but now Kevin Martin taking advantage of that. He's asking his man, Don Bartlett, to come through with a hit and roll behind cover.
Nose isn't even too bad.
He'd even take the direct hit.
I think he'd take the nose, yep. Look,
Down
Kevin's, it looks like he's going to play a little more this end as far as more rocks in play and try and get his deuce to get total control of this game, which, I mean, that bodes well for Frank's team, too. If they're going to get back in it, they're going to have to make some shots this end.
They're on it looking for the hit and roll. They're not going to get much of a roll. They might even go the other way, and they indeed do. Behind a little cover, that's not a bad shot at all, sitting there on the top of the 12.
That's a good shot. That'll give Kevin his deuce. He'll try and make that rock count come the end of the end.
Throw a guard.
Those little biters can be a real nuisance in a game like this.
Affectionately known as flobs.
I don't have much of a comeback for that.
We won't say what it stands for.
We won't bother. Kevin Pendergast won't even bother to pay much attention to it,
curl
in
if
fact.
you can. Leave it high and curl. Let it curl.
Yeah, they're going to ignore it and try throw up some center guards and go for the steal this end now.
Yep, come on, come on.
This could be this is the dangerous end for the Pendergast Morissette team. This is kind of a sign that they're going to try and get things going and go after their steal.
4 rocks in play.
Takes the guard off if you make the peel, does it?
It's not possible to jam it on this. You can go across the top, though. It's either that or just peel the one.
Yeah, peel the one.
Peel the one.
All right.
Is it going to run to our guard, though?
Hey?
Will it run into our guard there?
Probably. I know it's not a real good thing. I like this.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that. Why?
It might work.
Why are you going to leave the center guard there?
Hey?
Why do we want to leave that center guard there?
No, you're going to make them. You're going to make it across the top.
Peel this. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Just peel this.
Can you hit it in and miss it?
No, don't worry about that.
Okay.
Just peel it. Doesn't really matter anyways. Half a rock's good.
You can see the good communication between the teams.
Carter Rycroft, all he can do is sit back in the hack and laugh while his other teammates haggle over what this shot's going to be. But when you're up 3-1 with Hammer, I guess maybe you can laugh a little bit.
Yeah. If he hits this thin enough, he's not going to bump the corner guard at all.
Well, he gets rid of that yellow stone and rolls in behind, trying to get a piece of that 12. I think he's got that, and boy, that's all of a sudden become a very dangerous shot.
That's a bonus. Yeah, they weren't playing that, but they'll certainly take that. That's a nice break. Kick that one into the house. Now they've got the Morissette team on the run and in danger of giving up a big end again.
What do you guys think?
Well, I guess it worked for Kevin Martin's foursome. Frank Morissette calling upon his men as well to
getting to a point in the game now where there's some big decisions to be made, and it's got to kind of be a team decision as to how they're going to approach the end.
Try that. Control weight.
Control.
Just going to try to throw quiet weight here and make the double and maybe roll behind the center guard.
After 6, Kevin Pendergast at 94%, 83% for Carter Rycroft. So Kevin's had an outstanding championship final.
He has. They need a big shot out of Kevin here.
Don't know if he's going to get enough of it. Does move him around. He might even get rid of those 2 red rocks, and if he does, that's exactly what the doctor ordered.
That's a great shot.
And he adds to that 94% with a fine double.
You betcha.
Pistol?
Let's take another look at that, Brent.
The only way he's going to make this shot is with the quiet weight and keep the rock in the house. So he threw the quiet kind of bumper weight, hit it just right, spun the back red one out, and stayed in the house, which is key too. That way that center guard is still there to use later.
Clean. Hurt.
Carter Rycroft will quickly proceed to
take the takeout and stick around in the rings as well.
Frank's kind of in a tough position now. They've got that red rock in the house, and yet he's got the center guard. Looks like he's going to go and after the steal here. There's a big difference as far as percentages. That probably looks like the difference.
Mickey trying to do something about that here.
How's the weight?
Should have room, guys.
In the 7th
A lot of room. Clean it. Yep. Just easy.
Trying to come in behind that red stone sitting out there.
Lots of room. Off.
The line's
Not
good
at all.
on
Leave
there.
it high as you can. Or get it behind a tee line then.
Back 4.
Come on.
The line looks good. That's a good shot by Mickey. Maybe a little deep.
I'm not going to finish that much with tap. Want to go forward with like hack weight? Sure. To rattle front, fine.
Sitting just in front of the tee.
Don's just going to try and come down with board weight here. Try and bump the rock back just out of the rings and maybe roll into the open, which will try and set up the tube for the Martin team. Kevin talked about rattling the front. If he rubs the front guard on the way by, I mean, that's not the end of the world for the Martin team. It's going to open up that shot rock, and they might have a chance to get to it later.
Courage. Don Walchuk. Playing a little bit up weight, but not much. He has a possibility of racking on that guard out front, and I think that's what he's done.
Yeah, he's racked on the guard.
Good shot. But that cleans it up, at least, for Kevin. I don't think he's overly worried about that shot in any way.
No, that opens up the shot rock, and I mean, if Frank doesn't throw a real good guard on it here, it could be trouble.
Okay.
Here's a look at just getting a piece of that guard out front, rolling off innocently.
I got a guard, yeah.
That center line has kind of been touchy all week. If you get it on the outside of the center line and try and come across the center line, it really seems to ride the center line. If you get it over the other side like Don did there, it looked like it went pretty good. Just trying to throw a tight guard here to guard that shot rock.
Mickey Pendergast with his final stone.
Got a curl off, guys. Wait.
It's outside a little bit.
Wait.
Mickey said it felt like there was something under it, but it looks like it's reacting fairly well.
Quick. Hard every inch. Come on. Hard, don't stop. Come on. Right up. Come on. Hard.
It's got it about 3/4 buried. It did leave a corner exposed.
Slide pass.
Mickey still feels pretty strongly that it may have grabbed something there right out of the hack.
Well, it grabbed something, I was still in my hand.
And that's a part of the curling game, too, is the breaks. I mean, you've got to get the right breaks at the right time, and, I mean, they can't afford to have a rock pick something now. They need every rock to count.
So it'll go to the other side of the rings now and play, and Don Walchuk will throw the out turn.
Same kind of weight, just quiet bumper weight to get this rock out and sit there, too, again.
Whoa. Go right up.
No.
They're going to wait on this one.
Right off.
Close.
Right off.
Whoa.
Oh, Don's got a good shot here.
Whoa. Nice shot.
That's another indication of how calling off the sweep, calling on the sweep, so critical in the success of or failure of a shot.
It is, yeah. And you could hear Don knew that he had thrown a little more weight than he probably wanted to. So he knew it was probably not going to react as much as far as curling at the end.
I do believe that it is curling slightly more here after that fifth end break. It appears to, and I heard Don Walchuk just say when he was talking to Kevin Martin that it curled a lot.
Yeah, it does look like it's moving a little bit more, which is good.
Same weight.
Now it's Frank Morissette's turn.
Yeah, they're in danger here of giving up a deuce, which they can't really afford at this point of the game. Frank needs a hit and roll in behind the center line guard.
Be a little more.
There's a look at the skips. Frank Morissette at 79%, Kevin Martin at 83%, a virtual lock as far as the performance, and Frank has had some, as we pointed out on a couple of occasions of the telecast, very difficult shots to make. So he's performed admirably under that pressure.
He has, yeah. Just trying to play a quiet little bump.
Whoa. Yep. Good.
Whoa! Whoa!
Still out a little bit. He wanted a bit of a roll if he can get it. I don't think he's going to get it. Matter of fact, it's more of a nose hit.
Kevin will be quite happy to hit this and sit right there, or maybe a little flop.
Right.
The Labatt Brier starts March 4th in Saskatoon and Saskatchewan Place. What an occasion it promises to be. Not that many years ago, 89 in fact, just an outstanding Brier Championship. March 4th, 12th. Make sure you're headed to Saskatoon for the Labatt Brier Championship.
Kevin will be throwing his favorite turn, the out turn, quiet weight. Just try and stick it on the nose here.
One of these two teams will be headed to the Brier. Right now, Kevin Martin has a leg up on that opportunity. Looking for the takeout, the stick around and lie to. Wanted to get in some cover, see if he could roll around, but he does not. And again, now it goes back to Frank Morissette and maybe his opportunity not to give up to if he can get some cover.
Yeah, that end was a really good example of how Walchuk sets up an end for the Martin team. He came around, made the nice tap back to set up their deuce.
Well, I like the high one better.
Okay. You throw that weight. That last one, Frank, you just went to here. Right?
Frank's got a couple options.
Off board.
Frank's got a couple options here. He can come down and try and hit and roll in and be shot rock just on the inside, or his other shot I guess he could have played was come off this rock and in behind to try and force Kevin to take his one or steal one.
He's chosen the former rather than the latter to try to get in behind cover.
It's a matter of comfort, yep. He just threw this shot, saw how the rock reacted. This is a big shot.
Well, certainly the possibility of giving up to 5-1 is not a rosy picture.
No.
No.
Haven't touched it yet. Waiting to have a little movement on the stone.
Line looks a little better on this one.
It's close.
Whoa! Something there huge. Come on.
That's a good shot.
Pretty good shot. Might have half a rock to look at. That makes it tough for Kevin to hit and stick around.
That does. I think that's going to force Kevin to draw and take his one. He can only see about half the rocks. For him to get that out and try and stay for shots, it's pretty tight.
Yeah, I can
take another look at that stone.
I can see quite a bit of it.
Got enough late movement just at the end with the quiet weight to roll it in behind.
Probably feel a little better if he got about 2 or 3 inches more, but
yeah, a little more roll would have been absolutely perfect. But it's going to make Kevin make a really good shot here for his deuce. He's going to have to play the quiet weight. You can see about half a rock.
With a 2-point lead, is that why Kevin has elected to try this riskier shot than perhaps the draw for one?
If he was only up one, Kevin would probably draw, take his one, and keep control of the game. But he can try this. I mean, if he doesn't make it, he's still one up with, which is still not a bad spot to be in. Whereas if he does make it, that's a big deuce.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
They're close, though.
Right off!
They're
right
close,
off.
according to Kevin Martin.
Right off!
Whoa! Come on, honey, finish. Hold on.
Oh, it's okay. Well, Martin makes the hit.
I don't know how you got your
and rolls out, though, but he'll take one, not two, so that's a big break for Frank Morissette as he stays in this one. Gives up one. Kevin Martin takes a 4-1 lead. We played 7 complete here at the Medicine Hat Curling Club in the Safeway Select.
Get your tickets for the world's hottest event on ice. The Labatt Brier 2000. The Big Freeze is coming. Call Select a Seat at 1-888-9687-888.
Get in the game. Call your local association.
Last night, I got totally hammered. Beers, shooters. I puked my guts out. I don't even know how I got home. Oh, man. I made out with that guy on the dance floor. Good thing I don't have to work today, because I am so hungover.
This is a warning to all you people who drink and drive. Alberta's getting tough on drunk drivers. Drunk drivers cause more death, pain, and destruction than all other serious crimes combined. If you're caught drinking and driving, you'll lose your license automatically. Alberta's getting tough on drunk drivers because drunk drivers are tough on Albertans.
There's a look at Medicine Hat, the site of the 2000 Safeway Select Curling Championship, a city of 50,000 strong, and boy, have they done a nice job, as will these gentlemen. Coming up after curling, the late edition of Sports Central, Jamie Campbell and Mike Toth, both with Albertan connections. The pride of Bassano, Mike Toth and Jamie Campbell spent some time in Edmonton. They'll tell you the complete story on a busy Sunday on Sports Central coming up next. Kevin Martin with a 4-1 lead. Going into end number 8, Don Bartlett with the honors, and he's going to try to rip it through the end of the rink if he can.
Yeah, the Martin team feels that they've got enough points to win this game, so they're going to try and be very defensive now. Morissette team held Kevin to his 1, which is what they wanted to do if they couldn't steal. Now they've really got to go and get their deuce and get back in this game and try to put the pressure on Kevin's team.
They need that too, and Eugene Doherty with his first stone of this, the 8th end of play, trying to set the table for that kind of success if he can.
Hurry.
As you alluded to, Roger, Mike Kick, the chairman and the host committee here, have just done an excellent job and very accommodating and talking to all the players. They've thought this was an excellent championship.
And our thanks to them for being so accommodating here at the Medicine Hat Curling Club. Des Grant, Mike Kick. Comparisons through 7 ends for the leads. Don Bartlett at 91%, Eugene Doherty at 88%. They're dead on, not much between them. That's the kind of percentages you want from your leads in a provincial championship game.
Definitely, and the one showing stat there is Eugene Doherty is only throwing 1 hit. That comes with being down in the game. He's throwing his rocks up, with Donnie Bartlett, most of his shots have been hits.
Good.
And
looks like
Donnie sails one in.
Yeah.
Into the house now. It's up to Frank Morissette to decide how he wants to proceed with these 2 rocks still in play.
I think he might throw up another corner guard and try and keep the rocks as far apart as he can and use them for later on in the end.
Easy.
Here, Mickey talking about fudge. It seems like the ice is getting a little fudgy towards the center, a little flat. That comes with, I guess, the rocks continually going over the path, using the brownie brooms, as they all are, the synthetic brooms. That's really hard on the pebble.
So, fudgy, just to clarify that, it's not what you eat in a pan. It is the ice becoming a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, the ice just slows down, usually towards the center line. So coming to the center, the ice gets a little bit heavier. The times change as far as draw times. And it's tricky because you can throw a rock to the outside, which you think is normally a little heavier, but yet it's as quick out there because the pebble's still held up.
Well, out goes the guard. And out of play it goes as Kevin Pendergast follows up Carter Rycroft and will throw his first stone of the 8th end. 1 rock in the rings belonging to Kevin Martin.
As I mentioned before, the trip to Japan we took last summer, it was a great experience. Tim Yo goes over. He's an ice maker in Alberta here and makes the ice for them. And I'll tell you, curling sure getting popular over there. They love the sport and enjoyed the fact that there was a team from Canada over there. And I tell you, it won't be long until they've got some firepower as far as winning a world championship.
I'll bet you left your mark on Japan. These guys have left their mark. Seconds comparison through 7 ends. Carter Rycroft at 86%. Kevin Pendergast, we've commented before, he's just had a brilliant game, 95%.
He has.
Morissette's team.
Carter hasn't thrown a draw yet.
He's been busy getting rid of rocks.
Yeah.
As he did that one, nice peel on the guard. Kevin Pendergast once again goes to work.
Around.
They're going to try come down and freeze on top of that rock here and try and get the Martin team to miss, or try and get them to come down and take their own red rock out with it, and then they can start to go around the corner guard and try and get that 2 points that they so desperately need.
Line's pretty well. Got a curl.
Let's take a look at the timing now. You mentioned the fudging of the ice. Let's just take a see how it has affected things.
Go on this side.
Well, it definitely has. It was around 14.5 at the start of the game, 13.26, although that weight was up a little bit.
Yeah, he'd have probably been back 8 there, but yeah, I think it has slowed down probably half to 3/4 of a second, which, I mean, that's probably 6 to 8 feet.
Peel a guard.
Not much deliberation on the part of Kevin Martin here. Again, get rid of the guards, what he's saying. Asking Don Walchuk to clean it out.
That's a good call. Kevin gets rid of the corner here, and the way those other 2 rocks are lined up, it's pretty tough. It's going to be tough for Frank to just get some separation between his 2 yellow rocks.
No hesitation as well. Don Walchuk has had a reputation over the years of being a fine man on hits.
Yeah, Don likes to throw those high, hard ones, and he's deadly accurate on them. This could be good.
And he gets 2.
Not bad.
No, not bad. Not just 1, but 2. Gets the double, and that's plan B and C and D if you can get them all at once to really clean up those yellow stones and put the heat back on. Mickey Pendergast, there's a look at the end. Not only gets the peel, but just perfect, absolute perfect execution on the double going across the house.
Yeah, you know, for most guys, that's a bonus shot you wouldn't even look at when they're throwing it. But for Don, if he's in the hack and he's throwing a high, hard one like that, you got to keep that in mind.
Yeah, for line.
Don't hit it through. Don't hit it
back
through.
Got to hold the line, though.
So again, you're going to see the Morissette team. They're not going to be hitting anything out. They're just going to try to bump it back behind the tee line, try and utilize it later.
Easy. Well, then, Good.
That's a good shot.
The thirds in this Safeway Select Championship through 7 ends. Mickey Pendergast making a move. Last time we checked in after 5, it was at 60%, now up to 64, but Don Walchuk with 95% of the hits, and that's what he's done, 11 of 14 occasions. After 7 ends of play at 89%, taking the big advantage on third rocks.
Yeah, that's a very telling stat. Don's ability to throw the quiet hit, the big weight hit. I mean, there's no real weak spot in his game.
Speaking of hits, Kevin Martin would like to get rid of that stone belonging to the Morissette foursome, sitting full of the 8-foot.
He wouldn't even mind taking one of the back ones, I'm sure, with it.
Just might do that. No, gets the peel, leaves his 2 counters. Sitting in the back half of the rings.
Stick it right on the inside.
Now do you look at the freeze if you're Frank Morissette?
Yeah, Mickey's got to try and come down. If he can freeze on the inside of this rock here, that'll give him some backing, and hopefully it'll line it up so that the jam will be on either one of the red rocks and they can't get it out. Very touchy shot, though. You can't bump the red ones back or move them around too much. You got to have the exact weight and the good line.
Got to curl a lot, guys.
There's been such little movement, as you can hear Frank saying, we've got to see it curl.
Well, let it curl a bit. Back here, though. Yep, come on now. Still got to curl. Still got to curl. Still got to curl. Whoa, let it curl. Yeah, come on.
There's a good example of the weight being pretty good. They couldn't afford to sweep it because the line was no good. Kevin will just try and rip it through the hole.
Yeah, through the hole.
Rip it being the operative word, because then again, he will not care if he happens to get one or 2 of his own.
No, exactly. And in reality, I think Kevin would actually prefer to probably take one of his with it. Clean out some of the backing that I mean, obviously Morissette's going to try and use that for his next shot.
Yep, hard. Really hard. Hard! Quick!
I think he's all right here.
Moves not 1, not 2, but he moves 3 and just leaves his shooter. I guess you could say that was a full meal deal on that one, because he really cleans things out, leaving only his shooter in the house.
Yeah, that's right. He moved everything around and actually would have liked to probably move the other red one out. He's a little tight probably on the delivery here. I don't think he wanted to put it off that one first, but with that kind of weight, you don't have to be nearly as exact.
You've curled against Kevin Martin in the Edmonton Super League and
right.
played him many, many, many times over the years. 33 years old, he's already won 5 provincial titles, trying for a 6 or 9. How has he changed as a curler through the 90s into the new century?
Good, I guess.
Well, Kevin was very good in juniors. I mean, he won a Canadian championship in juniors. It didn't take him long. It took him a few years to adapt to the men's game. I mean, there's a few years where he came out of juniors and kind of floundered around in the men's, but I'll tell you, he's just like Don Walchuk. There's not a lot of weaknesses in Kevin's game. He's a very smart skip, and I think Don Bartlett's really helped him along with that regard.
Line.
But just very confident.
No, line's good.
Morissette playing quiet weight here.
Just playing the freeze down to the red one and trying to
let it curl, let it curl.
Got a good shot.
get a miss out of Kevin here.
Still got nothing for line.
Weight's good, but just no line again.
No.
That rock just did not move. It's been strange at times how little the movement has been. Frank Morissette just throwing that rock at 79%. Had some very difficult hits in this game, 77% of the hits. Kevin Martin on the other side of the fence. 11 hits, 84%. Overall, 82%. Still very, very close to 2 skips in tonight's championship game.
Ideally, Kevin would like to try and hit and stick here and try and force Frank to take his one, but I don't think he's going to play any kind of down weight or get too fancy. Main thing for Kevin here is to try and kill the yellow rock and roll out.
Well, he's got options.
Right on the beam.
He's got options, and he knows it, and that comes from experience as well.
The other thing he can do, too, is hit it right on the nose and chisel the red one over onto the other red, and that would keep both the red rocks in the house.
4-1, Kevin Martin. With the lead, playing 8, his final stone.
Actually, well,
That's pretty close to sticking it.
no.
Well, he gets the yellow rock belonging to Morissette out of there. Also rolls his out, leaving his own stone sitting there for Frank Morissette.
Hit a quarter inch of this thing. Hit a quarter, it still goes out.
Nothing blanking, I guess.
The only concern here for Frank
still
is that
our
if
best
he hits
chance.
that little tooth, then he'll roll right onto the other red rock and keep his yellow in play. He just wants to hit and roll out here, blanket, and going to really have to go after his deuce and 9.
Limited options.
It could be a frustrating feeling at times. I know we've played Martin team enough that you get into a position like this where they're a couple points ahead and they just run, and it can be a pretty helpless feeling.
When a team doesn't make an awful lot of mistakes, it's very difficult to play catch-up, and as you can attest to, on keen ice and ice that doesn't swing a great deal, that even makes it tougher to play catch-up.
Yep,
Frank
very
Morissette
hard.
with the last rock of the 8th end.
Sure does.
Hard.
Look at the peel.
Hard.
Wow.
I don't think so.
Uh-oh.
Not what he wanted at all. Takes the single. Frank Morissette takes the single and narrows the gap on the scoreboard, but gives up hammer. So after 8 ends of play, Kevin Martin leading Frank Morissette of Calgary 4-2 at the Safeway Select at Medicine Hat.
Get your tickets for the world's hottest event on ice. The Labatt Brier 2000. The big freeze is coming. Call Select a Seat at 1-888-968-7888.
Alberta rocks. For clinics and camps, call Alberta Rocks at 780-427-8095.
Get your tickets for the world's hottest event on ice. the Labatt Brier 2000. The big freeze is coming. Call Select-A-Seat at 1-888-9687-888.
Get in the game. Call your local association. Coming up tomorrow night on CTV Sportsnet, it's Calgary Flames hockey. Catch Kevin Quinn and John Garrett with all the action. The Flames take on the Los Angeles Kings at Staples Center in Los Angeles, 8:30 Mountain Time. The Flames on CTV Sportsnet. Kevin Martin's been on fire with his foursome. Speaking of Flames, to the tune of 4-2. Playing end number 9, Eugene Doherty and his Frank Morissette group from the West Winds Club in Calgary. Trying to play catch-up. Now they've given up hammer, trailing by 2, and it's becoming a situation of just having to do something, getting a break here, trying to steal and get back into this game, because at this point, giving up another one is death.
Yep, definitely. They got to steal here and try and close the gap. This is a real strength of Donnie Bartlett's here. What they're playing is kind of a half-weight, board-weight chip shot here. Getting that rock, they can't remove it due to the free guard zone rule. They're just trying to play, hit about a half a rock, move it off the center line, but it looks like this is hanging a little straight on him.
Just trying to chip it away. Let's see where it winds up here. Good shot, Donnie B. Well, he'll take it. It'll stick there.
Even though it's in the rings, that's perfect.
Cleans out that guard area. Frank Morissette.
That's a great shot by Don. He makes those, I bet you, probably 50% of the time, and that's an awful tough shot.
Well, you bet. Delicate, and got the job done. Eugene Doherty will go to the other side of the house now.
That's very indicative of how you have to be so strong as a team, right from lead right through to skip. You can't have a weak position or someone that doesn't quite curl up to standards. And I mean, that's a good example of the Martin team having that. What that does now is with the center guard here, they had half a rock. You're going to be running that yellow rock over onto the yellow is ideally what the Martin team would like to see.
And he'll line it up for Don Bartlett. This is rock number 4 of the end, so you know he's throwing quite a bit more heat at this one. Got one. Oh, and just by a hair missed 2. Almost got another double.
My fault.
Donnie's such a competitor. He wants to make those. He wants to leave the house clean. There's no rocks in play when he's done shooting, but now he turns it over to Carter, and Carter wants to try and make the next one.
He's supposed to be on this side.
Take another look at that opportunity for Don Bartlett.
They're trying too hard for double.
Trying for 2.
Just needed a little more sweep, and they would have got it. He didn't miss it by much.
He wanted it. He wanted it. Kevin Pendergast again will try to open up the house a little bit.
Kevin's had a strong game. He's always solid. And then, like I mentioned before, he's such an asset to the team as far as his personality on the ice and support that he gives to the other players.
Great deal. They're in the creation business right now, the Morissette foursome, trying to create something.
Yeah, manufacturing a deuce. Or a steal, sorry.
Hurt. They'd take a deuce on a steal, too.
Definitely.
Hard. Carter Rycroft with other ideas. Good shot. Again, gets rid of the guard, peels it off nicely. And Carter has really played a consistent game at 88%. Some reports suggesting that of all the members of the Martin team, he being the most vocal about getting a chance to go to the Brier. For him, his first.
Well, I'm sure he's really looking forward to getting the chance if they can hang on to this game to getting there. I mean, that's I know as a kid growing up in Alberta and doing lots of curling, we certainly, me and my brother, rural Alberta, you certainly that's what you want to get to. That's such a dream you have, and I mean, the financial rewards aren't what they should be for getting there, but it's certainly a dream.
And it's another chance for Kevin Martin. He's won 5 provincials. He's won 2 Briars, and comments now on another opportunity to go back to the big one in Canada.
An important part of the year for us. Saskatoon Briar is sounding like it's going to be a sellout or awfully close. So that'd be exciting. You know, there's the building holds a little over 13,000 people, and to be part of it is a lot of fun. So yeah, it'd be nice to get back this year. If not this year, next year.
Get a chance to go to the Briar, you'll darn near take any opportunity. It doesn't matter what year it is.
Yeah, you betcha.
On that occasion, another rock is cleared away by the clock-like work
of young cars. Yeah.
Of the front end. Kevin Martin's team, Mickey Pendergast now again will be assigned the same chore of splitting the house open, trying to put a couple of rocks around. The hammer belongs to Kevin Martin, leading at 4-2, playing end number 9, the 2000 Safeway Select Alberta Men's Championship game.
One real asset we have in Edmonton as far as producing some top quality teams like Netawin, Martin, those type teams, is that Edmonton Super League. It's really done a lot for the teams in Edmonton as well. We have a cable company that covers the games that gives you some experience as far as playing in front of a television.
And that does have its bearing.
Oh, it certainly does, yeah.
Kevin Martin again trying to remove the guard. Don Walchuk settling in to try to do that at 91% of the game. Hard. Good. Good shot. And he won't hurt his average there at all, as he does again clear it away. And you've alluded to this in the 8th end of play. This is the time for a total feeling of helplessness if you're the other side. You're trailing by 2. You're doing everything in your power to possibly give yourselves an opportunity to get back into this. And the execution of the Martin team has been so good, not just now, but in years gone by, that it continues to make it a source of frustration.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, they're playing very well tonight. So they haven't missed much at all. I mean, their percentages are high 80s and 90s. And, I mean, the Morissette team has played an excellent game, too. It's just a couple half misses here and there. That's, I'll tell you, that's the difference.
They're on this Mickey Pendergast stone, his final rock of the 9th end. It'll put it into the guard position on top of the house.
That guard's a little bit higher than the other ones that they've been throwing, and I wouldn't doubt Walchuk is trying to run this one onto the other yellow.
The winner of this game would represent Alberta at the 2000 Labatt Briar. Who else is going? Well, we're glad you asked, because we can tell you about that. Russ Howard makes it back-to-back Labatt Briars. He represents New Brunswick again. Out of Northern Ontario is Tim Phillips. Also from Prince Edward Island, Andrew Robinson. Guy Hemmings will not be back from the province of Quebec. Francois Roberge will go from there. Chad Cowan represents Yukon and the Territories. Bruce Cordy from Saskatchewan. Among some going to the Briar, heading off to the Labatt Briar starting March the 4th.
Certainly a few
in Saskatoon. Let's just catch up a little bit. Here's a replay of the last shot. Again, another peel opportunity. And he winds up getting a double. Again, not only gets what he wanted, but even more from Don Walchuk.
Yeah, there's that hitting game of Don's coming into play again. I mean, he's been solid today on those.
Jeff Stoughton is back also. Greg McCauley back from British Columbia. Rick Rousel from Newfoundland will go. Sean Adams from Nova Scotia. And Peter Corner, maybe the biggest upset of the day. Peter Corner knocking off Wayne Madaw in Ontario. You saw it earlier today on CTV Sportsnet. Taking care of Madaw in Nepean, Ontario to win the Ontario Championship.
There's a few upsets there, certainly. In Nova Scotia, Fleming had such a phenomenal year last year, winning the Canadian mixed and then having such a strong showing at the Briar last year. He made a few changes to make his team stronger, but they didn't make it out. And Stoughton repeating, I mean, that's not an easy thing to do in Manitoba.
Just a fight.
Indeed, that's a long haul, as it is in all of the prairie provinces. Bruce Cordy out of Saskatchewan.
Short, guys.
Will be a hometown Briar. Ouch. You know all about that. That's going to be interesting for him.
It is. It's something you will always want to get to a Briar. And last year when we got to one, being in our home province, it was a real thrill. We tried to partake in all the festivities and not miss out on anything, and certainly did that.
That's highly unlike you, Brent. That must have been a strange occurrence. But anyway, why not? That's what Briars are all about, and there were some festivities last year in Edmonton at the Labatt Briar. Will be again in Saskatoon coming up starting March the 4th. One rock at the house, that belongs to Frank Morissette's squad. Kevin Martin goes back.
One word of advice to the Cordy team, maybe. The longer they stay in it in their home province, the better.
Yep. Clean.
That I can believe.
Yep. Hard.
Martin with
Hard.
opportunity to peel this
Good.
one off.
Okay.
Does just that and clears it away. Frank Morissette staring at a barren end of the rink.
Greg McCauley from BC, I believe that's his third Briar appearance in the last 4 years. He's really come into his own.
Beat Bert Gretzinger in the final this afternoon in British Columbia.
Gretzinger team had a real good run last year in the Briar as well, and obviously came close again.
That's the challenge of getting back, making it back-to-back appearances in the Briar. It's just so difficult with the teams in Canada, here in the prairies, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta. So difficult to get out of your cities or your zones to get through to a provincial championship, then try to get back. It's just increasingly difficult with the teams getting better and better.
There's so many good teams in each province now, and just to get out of your province and get to the Briar is something like I'm sure a lot of teams will attest to.
Picking.
Frank Morissette needing a break here in end number 9. Throws one into the house. He needs a miss. Frankly, he needs a complete miss by Kevin Martin to see if he can steal one and make it a one-point game and give himself a...
I'll give you odds on it.
You'll give me odds on it.
I'll give you odds, yeah.
All right, give me odds.
100 to 1.
100 to 1.
Yeah, Kevin, I mean, an open hit, Kevin won't miss it as far as that goes. Might hit it on the nose, but that's not going to hurt him either.
I'm looking about 5 feet over that hog line, Donnie. Might be a spot.
Going back, Donnie Bartlett clearing away a little bit of the ice, and interesting to note, Kevin just saying approximately 5 feet past the hog, maybe some debris, maybe a hair, maybe something.
Yeah, that's something you got to be aware of. I mean, like I said, that'd probably be the only way that he'd actually not make contact.
Clean.
Well, you're absolutely right, and I didn't take your odds because I knew better. Kevin Martin pills it away, and this one is blanked, end number 9, so we'll be heading to the home end, end number 10. After 9 ends of play, Kevin Martin leads Frank Morissette by a score of 4-2 at the 2000 Safeway Select Alberta Men's Curling Championship.
Get your tickets for the world's hottest event on ice. The Labatt Briar 2000. The Big Freeze is coming. Call Select a Seat at 1-888-9687-888.
The Safeway Select Curling Championships derive their name from Canada Safeway's signature line of select products. There are now more than 600 select items available, all maintaining the same quality standards that were established when Select Cola was first introduced in 1995.
Safeway's brand of premium label product is the Safeway Select, and it's always our concern that the quality of product is where our customers expect it to be and meets those expectations.
Since their introduction, Safeway Select products have been recognized by their customers and the grocery industry for their gold-class quality and taste.
Nothing is ever released from this plant if it doesn't meet the exact specifications given to us by Safeway.
With over 600 premium brand Safeway Select products to choose from, each with a shared reputation for quality and value, it's only a matter of selecting the time for Select the product.
Alberta rocks. For clinics and camps, call Alberta Rocks at 780-427-8095. That's what it's all about. The Safeway Select Provincial Curling Championship Trophy. That goes to the winner, along with a free pass to the Labatt Briar. There's a look at Carter Rycroft, Don Walchuk, Don Bartlett. 3 members of Kevin Martin's team, and they're just a few rocks away of making that trip back to the Labatt Brier for the 6th time, joining Cliff Manahan as a 6-time Alberta champion. He did that in the 30s and 40s. Eugene Doherty, Frank Morissette, Kevin and Mickey Pendergast trying to put a hold on those plans.
Yeah, losing it.
Very methodical, workmanlike effort today by the Martin team.
I'll leave it.
Kind of been like a machine, hasn't it?
Good shot.
Yeah. And take nothing away from the Morissette team, though. They've played a really good game today as well, and they've certainly done a lot as far as promoting the game this weekend. They've been great ambassadors.
Don Bartlett gets in the hack. It's interesting, Kevin was so confident at the conclusion of yesterday's round robin, saying, hey, it's hammer. That's critical on this ice. That's critical here in Medicine Hat. It has been all week long. And he was absolutely right, because he was patient, waited to get his multiple point end.
Yeah.
And it happened in the 3rd with that 3, and that totally changed the complexion of the game and allowed him to play the way that Kevin Martin's team can play so well.
Yeah, they, I mean, once they got to 3 points, that's for them on this kind of ice where it runs so straight with any kind of weight. It was going to be tough for the Morissette team to get back into it. But, I mean, Morissette, they've played well. They've put rocks in good positions. And, I mean, with a few breaks here or there, they could have been right back in it.
Eugene Doherty has one out in the guard area, top of the rings. This one is just going to bite the 12, and that's going to invite Kevin Martin to get Donnie Bartlett into action and try to peel this one away.
I think the 3-rock free guard zone rules really helped the game and then brought it out as far as a spectator sport and made it more interesting. But if you look at the Worlds, they go to the 4-rock free guard zone, and maybe in a game like this, that would certainly entertain it up a bit more.
88% for Don Bartlett through 9 ends. Please. Trying to just peel this one away, and he does indeed, and knocks it out of there.
Clowns. Good throw, Donnie.
Broom it or something.
Kevin Martin.
Oh, up short, Frank.
That's right. I know.
May make it a 6th Alberta championship in a few moments' time. Leads it by 2, 4-2, playing end 10.
Another good crowd out tonight. The bleachers are just about full. They sold a lot of event passes for this, and it's been a great event.
The 2000 Safeway Select, once again, our thanks to the Medicine Hat Curling Club and the City of Medicine Hat. They've done an outstanding job of hosting this 2000 Alberta Provincial Championship. Thank you for hosting our entire telecast crew with CTV Sportsnet like you have. It's been our pleasure to be here and bring along the championship final on the net. And again, another guard thrown up by Frank Morissette. And once again, very similar. Carter Rycroft, who I think has done this all night long. He's just been peeling off rocks.
I would bet he hasn't thrown a draw yet.
And that's what he's done all night long. 0 draws.
Good throw, Carter.
We'll have to get him after the game to just throw and see if he can hit the house.
Somehow I just don't think Carter's going to go back out.
Go around.
Morissette team's just trying to keep the rocks separated so that any kind of a double would be a long double, and they're going to have to keep a rock in play. But, I mean, as far as the score goes, Martin's 2 up with last rock. They don't need to make a double. They just got to keep hitting one rock out every time they throw one, and that's going to be good enough.
Just trying not to make that glaring mistake. And now Frank Morissette changes philosophy a little bit here in the 10th, trying to tuck that shooter in behind the guard. He's done a pretty good job of that. Kevin Pendergast again probably has been the brightest light of all on the Morissette team in this Safeway Select Championship, with a nice draw in there. But I do think he can see about a quarter of that rock. Although the guard, I think, is first to go.
Yeah, Kevin will take either one as long as Carter hits and rolls out.
Well.
And he gets enough of it to peel it off. Carter Rycroft now has moved up over 90%. I believe the front end and Donnie Walchuk are all over 90% for Kevin Martin's team. I'll
I could be wrong.
That was one of the strengths that we listed at the start of the game, was the team in front of Kevin, how strong they were, the three of them, and they've certainly proved that to be true.
By George, they all are. Mickey Pendergast.
No.
Try to provide some cover for that stone.
Longer the better.
Pretty good, yep. Yep.
Just clean.
Yep.
Just trying to guard that stone, keep him in a line, hope for a miss out of Don here, and make him look at 2 anyhow in his last one.
Quickly running out of rocks, the Frank Morissette foursome. Don Walchuk will try to remove one more here.
Should be an interesting Briar with the teams that we've got going. Hemmings was probably a bit of an upset as far as not making it. He did lose the final there to that Roberge. He's always a fan favorite.
Hurt, clean. Oh,
Walchuk.
Clean. Good.
92% of the game. Deadly accurate on his hits. Can chalk up one more, in fact. Mickey Pendergast with the same scenario painted for him.
No other shot.
Can see Mickey's reaction there. That
Has to do a top 12.
it's fairly frustrating when you just keep throwing them up and they just keep hitting them.
You still peel the center.
Mickey's bounced back nicely after a tough start with some tough shots. He's up over 70%. In the championship game, giving more credence to what you're talking about. The fact the Morissette team has played very consistently, very strong, but 2 half misses.
Yeah, if you want. Yeah.
Basically, that's been the difference.
And a flash that really proved critical in that third end.
Yeah. I'm sure Mickey will look back on this game and he'll be a little disappointed in how he played, but I mean, he's out there. He's giving everything he's got. I mean, there's no shame at all. He's curled well all week. He's a great shooter. He's lost a couple provincial finals now. He's going to be back.
Don Walchuk. Again with another peel. Removing one more stone belonging to Frank Morissette. Just 2 rocks remain for the Calgary foursome and the 49-year-old Calgary skip, who's represented this province of Alberta many occasions at provincial mixed championships, won 4 nationals in the provincial mixed, was a part of Wayne Sokolowski's 1976 Alberta men's curling champions when he played third.
I asked Frank, you notice he throws with some mitts on. He's done that ever since he started curling, and he finds that when he's letting the rock go barehanded, he feels it sticks to the rock and that it's sticky, whereas with the glove it comes out nice and soft and it doesn't catch. He's done that for over 30 years now, so obviously it works.
Let it curl.
It's like lots.
Frank Morissette's first rock of end number 10.
Line's good.
He has 1 rock sitting in the 12-foot. It's going to nudge in a little closer than the other stones have been here in the 10.
I wouldn't doubt Kevin tries to run this back and get it over with.
Well, if he runs this stone and gets the double, he will have title number 6 in the province of Alberta.
Yeah, I think that's the call here. He's going to try and run it back, get rid of both of them, and then that way he won't have to throw his last one.
So Don Walchuk holds the broom and will play the run back. Trying to put a capper on a 4-2 victory.
See, they're making sure that there's nothing under the rock or in the sliding path. Donnie Bartlett always cleans the path.
Yep.
Martin playing the in-turn takeout. They're on it immediately. 1-2, and that is it. Kevin Martin for the 6th time, along with Don Bartlett, Don Walchuk, and Carter Rycroft in his first year, have won the 2000 Safeway Select Alberta Men's Curling Championship. And Brent McDonald, they had hammer going into this championship game. They did not relinquish it, and they took control.
They certainly did. They stayed in control all game. They curled a very strong, methodical game, and hats off to them.
No question about it.
as they shake hands, and rightly so, after another title, another championship. A gallant effort by Frank Morissette's crew, but Kevin Martin is indeed the champion, and he's all set to tell us all about it with our Peter Loubardias. Peter?
Thanks a lot, Roger. I'm with a winner of a 6th Purple Heart in Alberta, Kevin Martin. Kevin, just describe the feeling of winning it again.
It feels great. That was a strong game. The guys came out, and I think we were ready today.
I was just going to say, I thought from lead through to yourself, you guys as a team missed very few shots, and I mean in a championship game you really can't ask for any more, can you?
No. And Carter, he showed a lot of poise out there today, I think, and especially in 7, 8, 9, 10, I don't think he missed a shot. That speaks well for him.
For Don Walchuk, it's his 7th provincial championship.
I'm sure I'll hear about that later.
My goodness, what a career. And I really thought he had a fabulous game from start to finish. I think about the terrific hits he made.
Yeah, I don't think he missed much. You know, yeah, it's great to have the foundation of the team with Bartlett and Walchuk, and I think Carter fit in pretty good today, you know, kind of feeding off of both Bartlett and Walchuk's experience.
Kevin, I know you're going to enjoy this, so if we can, we'll take a look at the monitor, which is a little ways away, at the winning shot that capped it off. And I think it kind of tells everything. You didn't want to have to throw another one. You run the double, you run them both, and that brings an end to a 4-2 victory. And my goodness, I don't think, maybe you haven't thought about this, but I think the only guy in history in this province that's ever won it 6 times is Cliff Manahan, and he did it back in the 30s and 40s. Sir, you've joined some pretty elite company with number 6.
Yeah, it feels good. Yeah, it's a good feeling. It's hard to believe, really.
Kevin, congratulations. Now you turn your attentions to Saskatoon. It's been a pleasure watching you roll off another one.
Hey, thank you very much.
Kevin Martin, for the 6th time, he is the best there is in this province of Alberta. We'll be back for more from the Safeway Select Alberta Men's Provincial Curling Championship on CTV Sportsnet.
Get your tickets for the world's hottest event on ice. The Labatt Brier 2000. The big freeze is coming. Call Select a Seat at 1-888-9687-888.
The Safeway Select Curling Championships derive their name from Canada Safeway's signature line of select products. There are now more than 600 select items available, all maintaining the same quality standards that were established when Select Cola was first introduced in 1995.
Safeway's brand of premium label product is the Safeway Select, and it's always our concern that the quality of product is where our customers expect it to be and meets those expectations.
Since their introduction, Safeway Select products have been recognized by their customers and the grocery industry for their gold-class quality and taste.
Nothing is ever released from this plant if it doesn't meet the exact specifications given to us by Safeway.
With over 600 premium brand Safeway Select products to choose from, each with a shared reputation for quality and value, it's only a matter of selecting the time for Select the product.
Get in the game. Call your local association.
The home for big-time and big event sports coverage is CTV Sportsnet. Hockey's best games and biggest stars are on the net. Join Jim Houston and Craig Simpson for NHL Game Night throughout the season and into the playoffs. Sportsnet is also hot with NBA hoop action, featuring local coverage of the Raptors and Grizzlies. But whatever your game, tune into Sports Central with an expert team of hosts, analysts, and reporters. We're your sports source 24/7. CTV Sportsnet. Game day, every day.
Welcome back to Medicine Hat, where Kevin Martin and his rank have captured a 6th Provincial Men's Curling Championship. They knock off Frank Morissette 4-2 in the championship final of the Safeway Select. Toby Oswald from Safeway and Graham Prowse with me again, the president of the Alberta Curling Championship, or at least Federation, to present the championship trophy to Kevin Martin and his outstanding rink.
Thank you, Peter. Gentlemen, on behalf of the Alberta Curling Federation, it gives me great pleasure to present this trophy emblematic of the Championship of Alberta to your rink. What a great week, and best of luck in Saskatoon. We'll be all cheering for you.
Roger and Brent, there you have it. Kevin Martin and company, deserving winners, and what, as you talked about, Roger, a workman-like effort and sensational play here tonight in Medicine Hat.
Indeed, Peter, it was Kevin Martin's foursome winning the 2000 Safeway Select Curling Championship, going on to the Labatt Brier in Saskatoon starting March the 4th. Indeed, a great effort. There's a look of him, including Coach Jules Altscher, who's been there along the way. So for Medicine Hat, Kevin Martin advances, winning Alberta. He'll go to the Brier. For everyone on our CTV Sportsnet telecast crew, good night from the Medicine Hat Curling Club in Medicine Hat, Alberta. CTV Sportsnet is proud to present the Safeway Select Alberta Men's Provincial Curling Championships. Brought to you by Alberta Transportation. Alberta's getting tough on drunk drivers. By Olson's Canada, the largest manufacturer of curling equipment in the world. And by Quick Car Dental Plans. Fast, easy, convenient.
Of the third.